through the night covering these storms, and we'll keep you up to date with the very latest right here on this update as we go through. Now, we do have areas of severe thunderstorm activity up in northeast parts of North Dakota, the Devil's Lake Basin, also Nelson County, moving out towards Wells County and Fessenden. A few storms firing to the west of Bismarck, not severe, but very stout thunderstorms in and around Kidder County, as well as northeast South Dakota now starting to fire up. Eureka, Harriet, your area seeing strong thunderstorms. Things a little quieter out to the west in the western Dakotas as we head through the evening. Remember, Hutch's weather is a two-way street. Count them, 1B. And as we go through the event here, I'll keep you up to date with what is going on, including in South Dakota, where we have a smattering of severe thunderstorms and strong thunderstorms to the south and east. We also have severe thunderstorm watches. I'll be coming back and updating you with other things such as your forecast updates, and I will let you know in between my updates what's coming up next. So that's what we have for you right now. Let's get to the latest on the radar as we're scanning the skies. I will stop this from cruising around and let's get to the very latest. Now, we do have an active severe weather event ongoing in parts of northeast parts of North Dakota. Let's go ahead and take a look. I have had reports of damaging hail to the region taking place as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at this from the view of the latest radar and satellite. Now, here's what we got going on. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, strong and severe, working their way through parts of northeast North Dakota. Let me see why we are not seeing the warnings here, so we'll go ahead and pop that up. Okay, so we do have active thunderstorm warnings. Here they are. Pardon me while I switch over to this other look over here. Okay, so the colors that you see on the map here, we have a number of strong and severe storms working their way through the region. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings right now in northeast North Dakota that will track strong thunderstorms here in and around New Rockford and Carrington to your west as we look in parts of Kidder County and to the north. Now, and we also have an active tornado warning in parts of Manitoba right now, just off to the west of you folks in that area of red right there to the west and south of Winnipeg, south of Portage La Prairie, as well as the Winkler area, seeing stout thunderstorms pushing their way through. Behind this is a look at the forecast radar, which we will go over in detail here in just a little bit. But for now, let's get back to what is happening on the latest radar scan. So here we go. And again, these severe thunderstorms that are working their way through the northeastern quadrant of North Dakota now sit right here and in and around Langdon. Some of the stronger cells out here just off to the east of Wales, where you see the blue and the purple. Hamden seeing that activity. These individual thunderstorm cells here are moving to the north and to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour as a rule tonight, with our upper level winds providing that storm motion. So south and west of Fairdale, we have a severe cluster of thunderstorms moving to the north and to the east. As you look up towards Walhalla, here is a look at where we have a widespread area of thunderstorm activity. Now, Walhalla sits a ways away from the Mayville radar out there, and here is a thunderstorm cell. Here is another thunderstorm cell. Here is another one. So even though this looks like a wide area of one big thunderstorm, they're individual thunderstorm cells pulsing up, pulsing down. And these areas, some of you west of Langdon, Hanna, Wales, all the way out towards Alson, as well as the Osterbrook area, seeing multiple rounds of thunderstorm activity for tonight as we go through the evening hours. Adams, you have a storm heading into your ballpark as well. That is quite strong with the potential for some large hail. The largest hail will be where we see these brighter colors here in the pink and in the blue. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cells also firing up in the Wells County area. So south and east of Harvey, Fessenden. This is going to cross over the highway corridor here as we go through the next few minutes. So there's Highway 52 and those showers and thunderstorms moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. South of the Bowden area in towards Robinson, Tuttle, and Wing, we're seeing strong thunderstorms pushing towards Sykeston right now. And again, these cells very strong. They also are seeing some development down in the area of Tappan, Napoleon, seeing a strong thunderstorm fire up there just to the north of you at this time. It looks small, but again, we could see some areas with some sizable hail working its way through the region with that particular cell. Here is a look at what's going on down near Eureka, South Dakota. Stout thunderstorm cells in the offing right there as we speak as well. Here is that regional look once again as we pop this up on the screen for you. And again, here is a look at the latest severe thunderstorm warning. We'll go ahead and plot this up here for you. It's a severe thunderstorm warning for a storm moving northeast at 41 miles per hour. The main threat from this line of storms here is going to be 1-inch diameter hail, and a few areas will see gusts as high as 60 or 60 miles per hour on the radar scan. So here's a look then as we zoom in at these cells, and you can see here the warning was initially issued as this polygon was, or triangle that you see here was a little bit farther to the east. Now we have newly developed thunderstorm activity down here south of Munich and not far from Starkweather with some stout thunderstorm potential as well. So if you are in the areas just west of Langdon on Highway 5, that is where we have the cluster of these cells here near Hamden that will be pushing up to the north and east as we roll through. Here is a report of some 1-inch diameter hail that happened in Calvin. That happened at 4:45. We're now 6:18. So that was a little while ago as we have gone into the evening. So this Devil's Lake Basin, this area has seen the most persistent thunderstorm activity. Notice if you happen to be out here near Langton and Park River, we have a couple of cells in western Walsh County that are fairly stout and drifting up to the north and to the east. And as you get up north of Cavalier here, not far from the Netchie area, we do have some strong thunderstorms approaching you and Walhalla. While non-severe at this moment, they're continuing their trek to the north and east, and they'll be followed up by storms to the south. Now, here's a look at how much rain has fallen from these thunderstorm cells with a look at what's called the storm total precipitation estimates. And this is scan after scan, the radar estimating based on the reflectivity data that are gathered by the National Weather Service Doppler radars, how much rain has fallen. So you can see streaks along areas that have had that thunderstorm activity. Fargo quiet, Grand Forks quiet, but we are seeing some cells start to form just off to the west of Stutzman County right now, producing some rainfall in those areas. Drop questions now if you have any. Brandon says, what time for Moorhead? First thing in the morning. We'll get to that exact forecast here in just 1 second there, Brandon, as I go through, but it does look like our chances of showers and thunderstorms will arrive here as we go into the late overnight and into the early morning hours, but it doesn't look like they'll be too widespread. So I'll address that here in a little bit more detail. Let's talk about the rainfall estimates on the Doppler radar. I do want to point out that if you happen to be up here in the Langdon area, so as you get out towards the Pembina County, Cavalier County areas, we do have this batch of very heavy rainfall estimates from Doppler radar right here. What are the blues? What are the whites? Hutch, let me answer that for you. This is estimates again. Estimates can be skewed by large hail, which we have had, but as you take a look at the crosshairs here, we're looking at 2.5 inches of rainfall estimated by Doppler radar in this area, and some as high as 2.8 to 3 inches. So Calvin, I don't know what's in your rain gauge, but it'd be wonderful to have you snap a shot of your rain gauges in these areas of northeast parts of North Dakota to help confirm some of these estimates. So Calvin, 2.3 inches, and we'll look at to 3 inches, 2.3 to 3 inches of rain in and around this area. Hannah, it's estimating about 1.9 inches, Wales about 1.4 inches, and Langdon getting in on the mix with 3/4 of an inch of rain estimated there. Osnabrück, Milton, all the way up into the Walhalla area, anywhere from 4/10 in Walhalla that is just now getting some of the latest thunderstorm activity to over an inch where you see these pink hues right here. So that's what we have going on. Douglas, good to have you on board. Thank you for watching very much. Okay, now let's take a look at what's going on between rain cells here in Brinsmead. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate your report there. Now, looking at other areas with the rainfall amounts here, getting down towards Maddock and Devil's Lake, the rainfall estimates in these areas are upwards of 1 to 2/10 of an inch, kind of skirting right around the Devil's Lake area. And we did see some cells move through Fort Totten and over the Big Lake itself. Brinsmead down towards Maddock, seeing some healthy rainfall estimates by the Doppler radar of over an inch, where you see these purple colors there. That's what things are looking like. Now, off to the west, we've had streaming showers and storms from Dickinson straight through Minot, bringing 3/4 of an inch. A nice long swath of that, but thunderstorms pretty narrow, pretty small, so it's a narrow band of heavier rainfall potential with those storms. So now back to the radar view, and we'll take a look at this composite view across the area of how the radar is looking right now. So let's let that load up. Here we go. Strong thunderstorms working their way through northeast North Dakota, starting to see some development in the Kidder County area and in north central South Dakota. And now let's go down and cover our friends in South Dakota, I-90 and points south. Phillip and Pierre seeing strong showers and storms that'll be sweeping its way off to the east as we go through the night now. Hot Springs and heading in toward that Wall area in South Dakota. Here's a hail cluster right here. It's basically just off to the south of Rapid City, and it's off in the Badlands out here as you go east of Hermosa, as well as Fairburn and the Buffalo Gap area to Hot Springs, seeing scattered thunderstorm activity pushing its way through as we go into the evening hours. Now, looking out to the far east, we do have down to the south some strong thunderstorms in eastern parts of New Mexico, and another round of some stout thunderstorms in East Texas on into Louisiana and southern reaches of Mississippi for tonight. So that is a look at our latest radar information. We'll be back to this in just one moment. Right now, we're going to take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. It was asked by Brandon and Heidi. Let's talk about where these cells are forming and where they're going. So here we go as we put up the data. Give me 1 minute here, and we'll also look into tomorrow's risk of severe weather too as we turn the page here on this extended update and coverage of severe storms here in the Northern Plains. So here's a look at the midnight hour. So showers and thunderstorms moving out of here. Notice this forecast model here not looking like what is actually happening right now. We have a couple of storms here. We have some forming down here. Not as widespread as the activity as we are actually seeing on the radar now in parts of South Dakota. So we call this the initialization of a model, and this one is initializing okay, but it could be doing a little bit better job. So I'm going to test and take a look at another model here, and let's see where it's looking like for the early evening hours here. So this one, I think, is doing a little bit better job of the more widespread nature of the activity, although it's more linear, making its way out of the Black Hills than the radar is appearing right now. Showing that as we go through the evening, the thunderstorm chances kind of staple themselves in northeast North Dakota and northwesternmost Minnesota, never really crossing in a linear fashion right into Minnesota as we would expect. So here we go toward the midnight hour. Showers and thunderstorms will be approaching. This is Grand Forks, North Dakota. You're looking at the Grand Forks Air Base, Emerado, straight down into the Griggs Steel Trail County area. Fargo still quiet. As we continue through the overnight hours, our best chance of rainfall at all will be first thing in the morning based on this model. Now, I want to confirm that with another model that I think's been doing a pretty reasonable job of the thunderstorm activity. Let's see here. This one, I think, matches what's going on right now very good. So we have those showers and storms tilting from the Hot Springs area near Rapid City and bending out towards Wall, Pier, and Mobridge. We do have a little bit of activity continuing to show up here in northeast parts of North Dakota, and that's exactly where it's happening. This model keeps the line in the same area here as we go through the evening hours towards around 10 o'clock tonight here. Now, as we go through the late night hours, the risk for large hail will diminish a little bit, and we will have a risk for some gusty winds from these storms, but all of the watches that are in place now expire at 10 o'clock tonight. I expect the frequency of severe weather to kind of fall back a little bit as we head into the overnight hours. Now, we could see a few storms rumbling right in the northern Red River Valley, northwest Minnesota, northeast North Dakota for the duration of the overnight, and then fizzling out, running out of steam. Here's the setup for tomorrow. There's another round of severe weather possible. South winds across Minnesota transporting warmth, transporting moisture into the area. And as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow, if we can get some sunshine in these areas, it will destabilize the atmosphere. Notice thunder shower chances continuing into lunchtime in the northern reaches of the valley. That could deteriorate your energy in the atmosphere considerably up there. But if we can break out in some sunshine down here in the south, the atmosphere becomes less stable, and here we go. Low pressure developing, thunderstorms begin popping as we head through the 2 to 4 p.m. time frame right here along the Interstate 94 corridor in the eastern one half of North Dakota. Notice that as this moves through, we have an area of low pressure closed off here that develops. Now, when that happens, surface winds will circulate around that low pressure center. Upper level winds are coming from the opposite direction. So in this area here, we could have some shear and some spin in the atmosphere, and therefore a chance of some possible funnels as we go through. Will there be widespread, huge and damaging tornadoes? The chances of that are pretty small, but we do have a chance that we could see an isolated funnel cloud or tornado from these as we go through the evening hours. Look where the position is. If you're in Valley City, if you're anywhere from Grand Forks to Fargo, this model has this system tracking right through our area as we go through the evening hours. Now, checking out what's going on here heading into the evening. This is 7 o'clock at night, moving into Polk County, also up here near Marshall County, Minnesota, and leaning back in towards that Oaks, Ellendale area, Gwinner, your area, as well as Lisbon, seeing a chance for some showers and storms in and around Fort Ransom. This will be the severe weather potential and the severe weather event. Large hail looks to be the #1 threat. Again, gusty straight line winds. And how long does it last? These storms will have a better chance at filling in across eastern South Dakota then as we go toward the late night hours, and with south winds fueling these storms even into the nighttime hours. I think we could see some stout rumblers even into the 10 to midnight time frame for tomorrow night. Notice how this line or linear form of thunderstorms moves through. Once they become linear like this, gusty straight line winds certainly become a possibility as we go into the morning hours. Then they're drifting in towards the North Shore and the Twin Cities, kind of losing some energy as they typically do here in the Northern Plains this time of the year. That is a look at your hour by hour forecast. Thank you for the question, Brandon. I do appreciate it very much. And now we will take a look at some of the photos uploaded from today's storm, and we'll get back to the radar where we are starting to see, or continuing to see, I should say, some areas getting some hail reports coming in right now, so we'll get to the latest on that as well. Here is a look at your temperatures today. Sizzling hot in the eastern one half of North Dakota, 85 to 90 degrees here in Grand Forks. It says 88 right above Grand Forks. That was the high temperature on the NDON network there. North Fargo, 87, with northern parts of Clay County near 90 degrees or hitting 90 degrees today. 82 out in that area just off to the east of the Detroit Lakes area. Perham at 83 degrees. Roseau 85 degrees. So the heat went all the way north into the Kitson County area. How about 90 degrees up there with 70s off to the east for the day today. So that is a look at those temperatures that we saw. Now, this is measured rainfall across the region as we've gone through the day today on the 2nd. We do have some areas in western North Dakota picking up between 1/4 of an inch. As you look up here in the McKenzie County, 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch of rain just north of Dickinson there. So some much needed moisture there. Freud, Montana picking up 24/100ths. That's just north of the Highway 2 corridor in northeast Montana. Plentywood 1600ths. Crosby about 2/10 of an inch. Thunderstorms through the Langdon area kind of skirting around you, but picking up a healthy 1/4 of an inch there. Let's look at some of the showers and thunderstorms now moving through the Kidder County area, producing a quick 1/2 inch of rain there. A few starting to fire here in northern parts of Barnes County, just north of Valley City, and the Lake Ashtabula area, bringing some showers and some storms there. Now, we're going to take a look at the camera network here and take a peek at what's going on with regards to these storms in northeast North Dakota. Heavy rain starting to fall. As we showed you, rainfall estimates upwards of 3 inches of rain. That's running off in parts of northeast North Dakota. Here's what the Highway 5 corridor is looking like as the storms have moved through. Let's see. This is the Langdon area, so we definitely have the dark clouds in the skies there. Low-hanging clouds here on this side of the storm. That one is an updraft area. See where you can see the brightness through the cloud? That is the rain-free base or the rising motion of the thunderstorm there. And then where you can't see anything at all near the ground here, that is a downdraft, which is bringing rain and hail across the region out there. So that's what we have going on in and around the Langdon area. Let's take a look at a couple of other views. Now, these fields were inundated with quite a bit of water a little bit earlier. Let's take a look at another camera a little bit closer to Cavalier here as you're going through the hills and in that Pembina Gorge Valley out there. And wow, beautiful dark clouds, some beneficial rainfall for northeast parts of North Dakota. Now, as we go off to the east out towards Botno, Rolla, look at this puppy. Still, again, We can't see the backlight behind this, so there is a heavy batch of rain and hail as we look off near the Dunseith area, and it does look like that continues there. There's a rain-free base with the updraft part of the storm, and even closer to the camera here, an updraft or newly forming thunderstorm cell is in the area. Way off in the distance, I believe we're looking off to the north here, and you're seeing that we have some daylight beneath the thunderstorm, so some rising air there, and a gully washer out off to the east. So that's what's going on those cameras right now. And I am seeing quite a bit of thunderstorm activity to the north. So let's see what's approaching. I don't see anything on this camera that's going to help me. Let's see if I can pick another camera here. Okay, so let's go to this one. All right, so this is the Pembina camera, and a lot of these cameras, as you can imagine, are made to look at the road and not necessarily the sky. Here's the Pembina port of entry, and let's take a look at this. Dark skies as you're looking off to the west and south of the camera location here at the border crossing, and we definitely do have those dark skies coming. So that's what's going on. A little bit earlier, I was seeing some areas in the fields with a lot of water on the dirt out there. Let's take a look at Rugby. I'm kind of perusing the area here to see what's going on. Showers and storms off to the east of Bismarck. Now let's take a look in and around Kidder County and Steele and see if we can see a camera or two here. Okay, there's a view from Medina. Storms are approaching that particular area. The Tappan area is not showing much. Here's Sterling. Dark skies, Interstate 94 running east-west through North Dakota. And we do definitely have some very dark clouds surrounding this area here with the thunderstorm development just off to the east. So that's what's going on there. All right. Here is what we have going on again as we look into the radar view, as we are now seeing strong thunderstorms lining up basically just east of the Missouri River Valley. This is in that Steele area in Kidder County, north into Sheridan County, and south down to the border down there, not far from Napoleon. So the blue boxes that you see drawn by the National Weather Service are for strong thunderstorms, but not necessarily severe thunderstorms. This one here, though, could have a pretty good hail core on it right here. And let's go ahead and switch over to the Bismarck radar. It's a little closer, so we'll have more believable data of what's near the lower part of the thunderstorm cloud. So bear with me while I switch the radar over. Now, here's a look. Just north of Napoleon, we have this area of blue. We also have this, what looks like a bite taken out of the storm. Sometimes when storms have a little bit of rotation in them, we can get a bite or a echo-free zone showing out here. Solus says, watching as I'm traveling home from Walhalla. Where's home? Solus, thanks for watching, and I hope you're traveling safely. I want to look at this Napoleon storm right here. Number one, I think we have some solid hail potential from this particular cell. So I'm going to turn on the hail estimates here with the storm as it's working its way through. Do you see the 3 there? That would indicate to me that this storm, calculated by the Doppler radar, has the possibility of very large hail. Do you see the 3.25-inch hail there? That's really big hail just north of Napoleon. Now, that's what the radar is estimating based on algorithms or programs based on how high the largest hailstones are reaching into the sky. But this could be a doozy. There is no warning on this storm as of right now, but with a 3-inch hail marker on it, it could potentially be dangerous. It is moving away from Napoleon to the north and to the east now. So if you are in rural parts of southern and central, this is the Steele area, so Kidder County, south of Tappan. This is a very strong thunderstorm working its way up into your area. Now let's take a look at the spin with this one, because there is that little bit of a, right in the same area here. Now this is the Bismarck radar. The green shows motion towards the radar site in Bismarck, and the red would be motion away from the radar in the Bismarck area. So let's go ahead and see if we can draw on this. Motion away. Here, motion towards. So this storm not only has a 3-inch hail marker on it, but it is also showing very tight rotation in this area. Stronger outflow pushing into Napoleon. You're going to get a very gusty burp of wind from the west. Home is Fargo. Moorhead got a long drive. Thanks for reporting today. Thank you, Solus, very much. I hope I pronounce your name right. Is it Sherrod? Thank you very much. Safe travels to you on the way back. You're going to have very quiet weather once you get out of the Walhalla area, that's for sure. some spin associated with this cell right here, right on this county line border here. As you take a look at what's going on there, north Highway 3 corridor, I should say, just north of Napoleon. How far north of Napoleon are we? Well, let me answer that question. So the rotating part of the cell is 6.2 miles northeast of Napoleon right now. So there's some shear in this storm that's located where you see the greens and the reds, and that is concerning. And there is also a pretty decent sized hail marker with this cell. So let's take a look at the hail estimates and severe chances of hail as we go through. Let me erase my line. Okay, look at this. These colors are the estimates that the radar is providing me with how great the chance is of severe sized hail. Severe hail is 1 inch in diameter. This says there's a 100% chance 6 miles north of Napoleon of seeing that hail core there work its way through. That is a serious storm, folks. Now let's take a look at the shear marker. Remember, I was seeing some low-level shear where we have motion towards the radar, right next to motion away from the radar in this same area here with the hail core. Let's take a look at the shear marker here, calculated, and it is showing some significant shear in that particular zone as well. And here is another look at the shear values that we see across the area. So let me see if this will show me. Yeah, we're looking at some decent shear here, although it's not as strong. Hey, cloud tops. When we get a thunderstorm capable of producing 3-inch hail, just think of how fast the air must have to be rising to create hail chunks that are that large. Incredible upward velocity has to be out there to support a big old heavy hailstone the size of my fist. So if we got some Hutch fist-sized hail out here, how high or tall are these cloud tops? Rising air that's rising up upwards of 100 miles per hour are probably going to be required to support hail that large. Let's see how high these cloud tops are here. We're talking peak cloud top heights estimated at 56 to 57,000 feet in the area of that hail core. Rising air, big time hail. What's going to happen as that hail starts falling out, very gusty winds will be possible from this thunderstorm as well. So right now, the National Weather Service does not have a thunderstorm warning on this cell. It's moving off to the northeast right now at 32 miles per hour. And because of the hail core with this cell as it's growing, and because of the shear on this storm, I am going to go ahead and show you where it's moving. So let's go ahead and go back to the single site radar data. All the data on this storm matching up very nicely. There's your hail core moving northeast. It's moving at about 35 miles per hour. We're going to track where that hail core is going. Here's the leading edge of this core of hail, moving to the north and east at a clip of about 35 is what I'll put it at. Look how close this hail core could be to making its way into Tappan. By 7:09 Central Daylight Time, rather, this storm will be heading up into the Tappan area, and sometimes things happen in Tappan. If you are in Tappan, we'll keep our eyes on this storm for you, and if you're along for the ride, you can certainly drop a comment here and let me know. I'll be happy to keep you up to date with what's going on with that particular cell. Another cell that is quite strong in and around Pettibone right now, moving in to the Pettibone area. So as you go from Tuttle, Robinson, Pettibone right here, boom, there's a hail core with that particular cell. How big is the hail size estimate with this particular cell? Let's have a look-see here. As we take a look at the hail markers here, let me turn those bubbies on. Bing. 2-inch hail. Okay, so up at cloud level, this is estimating hail size of around 2.25 inches. What falls down to the ground could certainly be smaller in this heat and warm air that we have. The probability of severe hail in and around this is about 80%. So if you are in Pettibone, be prepared for a very strong thunderstorm with a large hail making its way into your area as we speak. Right now, the max hail size is estimated by the National Weather Service to be nickel-sized, but I'm seeing evidence that this storm is increasing in strength. Northeast motion, 32 miles per hour. Let's track it for you folks as you look into the northern and western reaches of Stutzman County, the Pettipone area here in northern reaches of Kidder County, and southern parts of Wells County is the location of this storm. Now let's go ahead and track this for you. So as we see, the leading edge of the hail core is right here, and it's moving in this general northeasterly direction. It's moving, let's put it at 35 miles per hour, not 52. So there we go. And it's going to be very close to Sikeston, the Sikeston area, by the time we get to 7:20. So we have plenty of time for the Sikeston area. But look at this. If you're in Pettibone, it's moving into your area right now. Let me take that hail core back a little bit. I do think it would be likely in that general vicinity right now. So we do have, let's see, a new information coming in. Thunderstorm warning, Stutzman County, Wells County, Shazam. This one prompting a National Weather Service warning for very large hail that we've been tracking with you. I think this storm is equally as strong with a little bit of rotation in it as well. That's southern parts of Kidder County. So you got two very strong thunderstorm updrafts right here with cloud tops reaching close to 55,000 feet supporting hail. And there is a look at the warning. Let me go over with you what we have going on with this particular warning here. I'm going to clear the track. The National Weather Service has issued a warning in effect until 7:30. It's now 6:43. 1-inch diameter hail potential and 60-mile-per-hour gusts will be possible with this particular storm as it works its way into the general direction of Carrington, Pettibone now, Woodworth, Sikeston, Lake Williams, and Chase Lakes. So that is the area of concern with that particular cell. If you happen to be in the Green Lake area down here doing some fishing, we have a very stout cluster of cells working its way right up into the Wishick area. So right here from Venturia all the way up to Wishick and southwest out towards Zeeland, we have another cluster of cells here making its way in. These are non-severe, and it doesn't look as bright, and it doesn't look like the hail core is as sizable with these particular cells. Unlike this particular cell moving through rural portions just north of Napoleon, we see the hail marker has gone down just a little bit. Up to 2-inch diameter hail could be possible from that particular cell as it works its way to the north and to the east. That is a look at those areas. Now we do continue to see that we have some strong thunderstorm cells. I'm going to switch the radar. Notice we're at the edge of the coverage of the Bismarck area radar there. Let's switch this bad boy over to the Mayville radar and take a look at that. Here we go. Mayville radar, Langdon, Cavalier, and points off to the northeast towards Walhalla. Getting strong thunderstorms, possibly up to nickel-inch hail here from Langdon to Nakoma as we look out towards Osnabrück. And we also have a smattering of thunderstorm activity pushing in toward the Cavalier area. I do like to take a look at what's going on with regards to some camera views. I'm going to go to some different cameras right now from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. This site is fantastic for keeping you informed at all these green dots. It's a very dense network of cameras that are available to us. So bear with me while I pull up the control box for this and pull up a look at aerial storms that are impacting places like Napoleon. So let's go down into that general vicinity and see if we can see some of these Wishick area storms. I can't control where the storm camera is pointing, but we see a nice gully washer right next to that there wind tower. Flat bases on the thunderstorms, updraft part of the storm right here, and that's pointing 5 miles west of the Wishick area. And see if it tells me what direction it's pointing. I don't see that. Southwest. We're looking southwest of Wishick right now. So that's the direction of looking from that particular storm. Now, as we go north just a little bit, let's take a look at the areas pushing in towards Gackle and Streeter and southern Kidder County here. Let's go to Kintyre. Okay, so as we take a look at Kintyre, you're looking out to the west out there, we can see distant storms, but there is some thunderstorm activity that's crossing into the Kintyre area just off to the west. Now we're going to go into the Streeter area, and there is some heavy rain showing up over the area. The flat clouds showing up. This point is pointing, it doesn't say on this particular image here what direction we're looking at, but it's 6 miles northwest of Streeter that's providing us this view of the thunderstorm activity there. So now we do have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect right now as we go in towards the Woodworth area. So let's get into this northwestern Stutsman County right here and take a look at what we have going on with that. Here is Woodworth, and now we are looking northwest of Woodworth, which is in the opposite direction the storm is making its way into. So we've got big bright sunlight on this side. It's to the left of this. If we could point it down a little bit more westerly, we would see what was coming in the direction of Woodworth right now, but you can certainly see the mean looking clouds starting to encroach on, well, some areas that would probably appreciate a little bit in the way of some rainfall. Let's look at Robinson. Big time rainbow on the camera here in Robinson. So that is caused by raindrops falling through the sky, backlight behind the viewer or the camera, and it's reflecting back towards the camera. So this must be pointing off in that general direction of the east, because the sun has to be behind the camera to provide us a view of the good old-fashioned rainbow there. Substitute 206, hoping for around in Avon, Minnesota the next couple of days. We got you covered. I did want to go over that forecast here. All right, and I see Raul saying some words about tropical storm Amanda. That's with the letter A. Are we starting the tropical season? Look at the dark sky here. Now that is a real strong downdraft of rain. Now when this rain, heavy and cooling the air as it evaporates, hits the ground, it can cause some pretty strong gusts of wind out there. So that's what's going on in that general vicinity. Let's look in southern parts of Wells County with the approaching storm. We're not looking at much there, so let's not, that's a southwest view and it's a little low on the ground. So let's go take a look at the Heaton area as we take a look at raindrops in the sky. Look at these raindrops coming down and how awesome they look, or maybe they're little hailstones falling through the atmosphere as well. That could very well be some small hail working its way into the region, looking northwest of Heaton, North Dakota right now. So if you're in Carrington, if you are in southern and western portions of Foster County there, we got a strong storm that's moving right over Pettibone right now. See if I can get a better view from Pettibone up here. Robinson, Woodworth, Tappan. Let's look in Tappan. Nope, I can't see much more there. All right, so that's a look at some of those Endon cameras. Thanks to my friends at Endon for making those available. Now let's take a look at some DOT cameras across North Dakota as well. This, again, I want to get as close as I can to that Pettibone area to see what's going on with that severe storm warning there. So let's get here and, oh, that camera is down for the count. Okay, here we are in Medina. Though this is western Stutsman County and you're looking at the flat clouds, there is some thunderstorm activity just off to what looks like the west and south of Medina. There's the interstate we're looking across, so we're likely looking off to the south. Why south? Because the sunlight coming from the west-northwest is reflecting off those clouds, so I'm assuming this is a view southerly. You're looking south and the sunlight hitting those tall clouds out there. Oh, there we go. There's a look down the interstate. And again, I didn't see anything too ominous from that storm that I'm trying to target. Let's look from Carrington here. This is the Bowden area. And now as we take a look here, we can see some dark clouds. Let's take a look at what's going on here. We got the very dark skies as we look out over the area from Bowden, US 52 in the foreground there with those cells. And there are more dark skies with a big time, well, that looks like maybe even a rainbow trying to present itself there, meaning the sunlight is behind the viewer or the camera and it's causing the rainbow there. So we must be looking off to the east somewhat there as that thunderstorm works its way through the region. That's the Highway 200 corridor working its way in. How about Fessenden? Let's see what's coming there. Okay, we do have some dark skies. And it does look like the nice pavement wetting rainfall has made its way through that neck of the woods. Okay, back to the radar we go real quickly, and we'll keep you up to date with the very latest as these storms are fluttering their way through the region tonight. And that radar is keeping us up to date. Here is the storm crossing. This is Kidder County. This is Highway 36. This is Pettibone. 1-inch hail marker making its way into Pettibone as it's working its way to the north and east at about 35 miles per hour. Woodworth, you're on the edge of the heavy rain. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning up in that Wells County, Stutzman County area. Just an update on that. So that's the one that we're looking at right now. So let me go ahead and pop this out and see what the latest update from the Weather Service is with this particular storm moving northeast, 40 miles per hour now, 1-inch diameter hail and 60 mile per hour winds. If you do have photos to upload, please head over to my website or download my weather app and you can get the very latest with regard to what's going on with this storm anytime, anywhere. It will follow you if you allow it to do so, even when the app is off, and give you alerts if you happen to be traveling into an area where a warning is issued. So real good information to have in the presence of storms. Some small hail producing storms now in northeast North Dakota. That's the good news there. Some of the stronger ones now popping up into the Carrington area out towards Wishick, as well as this southern Kidder County storm here, some 1-inch diameter hail potential from that as well. Now, as we take a look at the cloud top heights, sometimes we watch for the highest cloud tops to see the storms with the strongest updrafts, and we can see a strong updraft on the Warren storm heading towards Carrington and the northwesternmost quadrant of Stutzman County there out of the Pettibone area. This storm, very tall thunderstorm cloud as it's working its way in the general direction of the I-94 corridor there. So if you happen to be in Medina, if you happen to be off to the west out there near the Crystal Springs area there at the bend in the road right here, these storms are heading in your area outside of Napoleon with a stout signature. The possibility for some sizable hail from that storm still does exist. Okay, Raul says tropical storm off the coast of the Western Pacific, and 2 Hurricane Hunter aircraft are going to fly through the system to see how much wind is there. Thanks again for the update. Kind of fun to keep our eyes on weather all across the area. These are the latest warnings in North Dakota. Down in the Rapid City area, we have a smattering of thunderstorm warnings, including near Lead, it looks like here, and parts of eastern Wyoming. So there's Lead, Sundance, and the I-90 corridor through parts of western Wyoming. Severe thunderstorm warning, cloud top heights there, pretty tall indeed. Let me give you an estimate of 30 to 40,000 foot cloud top heights out there with these storms. The main risk with these cells will be, as according to the National Weather Service, in the Rapid City area, 1-inch hail and some 60 mile per hour gusts as they approach the western part of the Black Hills out there. So we do have a more thunderstorm activity taking place that's severe heading towards Wall. This is a 1 1/4 inch producing thunderstorm for hail size moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, heading in the general direction of Wall, but otherwise will be in rural parts of the Badlands there south of Wall, heading towards the Highway 44 corridor right here as we go through. What's this nonsense? Well, this is a look at what we call the real cone of silence, and this is the Doppler radar outside of Rapid City, and there's ground clutter, we call it. Ground reflects energy back, and it makes the first short-range data to be unusable. So that's what that is out there. Another severe thunderstorm warning passing through the dry area of southwestern parts of South Dakota here. So as we take you in just a little bit closer here, we definitely see that we've got a rain or flooding report here. Flash flooding caused reported by the emergency manager. A few homes have high water flowing spaces through Oglala out there in that particular area. So very heavy rain with more thunderstorm activity in that region that is severe. All right, that is a look at that. We have your forecast that we've updated for you, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break here in the coverage while we keep our eyes on these storms. The risk for severe storms is there tonight. Here's a look at the active watches that remain in effect. So I'll put these up for you. Severe thunderstorm watches are in these yellow boxes until 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Bismarck, Jamestown, the Devil's Lake area are in the watch. Grand Forks is not in the watch. But as we go towards 10 to midnight, some of these cells could be making their way into and around Grand Forks. All of this activity should be diminishing in its intensity as we head into the late night hours tonight. We also have a severe thunderstorm watch for western parts of South Dakota. Your watch is in effect for 70-mile-per-hour winds and 2-inch diameter hail until 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time as well. So that's what's going on here in the Northern Plains. And if you're just joining me, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. For the better part of 30 years, I've been a chief meteorologist at broadcast television stations in the Northern Plains here. And now I'm streaming for you. Thank you so very much for taking the time to hit the subscribe button right here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so very much as well for taking the time to hit the follow button on my Facebook page. Now, I am going to leave you right here with a look at what I have is a kind of a keep you updated while I get the next round of data set up for you. So right now what you're looking at is my 4-panel. Right behind me is forecast model guidance. I'll set the view on that so we can see. What you're watching here is the forecast model of evening thunderstorm activity, and it gives you the idea of where we are going to see these storms go and whether they increase in strength or decrease. So as it starts tonight, strong thunderstorms push into Winkler, Manitoba, and out quickly, fizzling in the eastern Dakotas and western Minnesota. And by the time we get to the morning hours, we could see a couple of thunder showers passing through the FM area, but not like the rain that we would see in other locations. Above my head is the precision radar. On that, you're going to see details as we loop through the region here on what's going on with regards to the latest radar data. So that will play through a sequence of views that we have here where storms are perusing through the area to keep you updated. In the upper right-hand corner is the extended forecast and the forecast for severe weather tomorrow. You'll see details on where we expect hail, where we expect the possibility for an isolated tornado, and all of the like showing up on that panel. And of course, off to my woohoo over here, we're talking about where you can download my brand spanking new weather app. Folks, thousands and thousands of people have downloaded this app to stay ahead of the storm, and it's different than any other app offered by other media in the area. Why? You get exclusive alerts to twisting storms. If there's strong twisting in an area, you'll get information about that, and you'll get an alert or a notification to that sometimes before a tornado warning is even issued. So keep that in mind out there as we go through the evening. How's Jamestown looking in Stutsman County? I got a question, and Cameron Jackson, thank you for that. As you take a look on the precision radar up here as it scrolls around through the area, me and my friend Pedro, come on up here, let's go. Here we go. Sorry about that, turning my back on you, but I've got my good buddy, trusted Pedro here. We are keeping our eyes on the skies for you. And yes, Pedro says this weather can get kind of rough sometimes, but that's what we're here for. So again, we'll have a chance for strong to severe storms. I will keep this stream up and going as we go through the night, and I will be interrupting my own programming here with updates regularly. So I'll keep you posted on what's coming next. Look for a little message to show up on the page here that shows that, for instance, it says your forecast is up next. That's what I'll be working on, and we'll go over that. And Greenbrier says puppy time. It's always puppy time here at Hutch's studio for Hutch's weather. So thanks so very, very much to all of you. And by the way, Pedro and I would like to remind you too, while we're sitting here chatting together, that on my website or on my weather app, you can hit the shop button and there's a 14-inch rain gauge available. And then once you order your rain gauge and get it, this puppy is fantastic. It measures to the nearest 1/100th of an inch. There's an internal tube here with a graduated cylinder that can be that accurate. And you can set this puppy out in the field, even in rain that's over an inch, because the inner tube here measures 1 inch, but then it spills over into the big bucket here. And then when you're done, you can dump out the first inch and then use the funnel to pour in the subsequent amount that's left over in your gauge right in here and measure exactly how much is in your gauge. It works out great for those in agriculture that have fields in different areas, because one field can get gully washed, have a frog strangler, real deep water, and then other areas can have just light rainfall and maybe get missed entirely. This will help you keep track. Even if you only drive by and check it out once a week, you can get an idea what fields have got it and what fields have not gotten it. Hutch's weather, rain gauges, limited supply. I'd love to have your order. So for now, I'm going to well, I'm going to tune up the music here just a little bit, and I'll leave you with more information. I will be back with updates. Thank you for watching Hutch's Weather. Thank you for supporting all of my fine sponsors on Hutch's Weather, and I will be right back here in just a little bit.
You're watching Hutch's Weather live. We're taking a quick breather. While Hutch prepares the next data sweep, check in from your neck of the woods in the chat. Let us know what you're seeing out your window. It's how we stay weather aware together. Wait for the next update to stay safe between Hutch's live reports. The Hutch's Weather app is your best way to stay alert. Grab it now and never be caught off guard by the changing weather. If this coverage is helping you stay prepared, consider giving the stream a thumbs up. It helps the system push these alerts to more people in the path of the storm.
All right, getting all set up for the update here. We've got forecast graphics updated for you. We're going to talk a little bit about our severe weather risk tonight and again tomorrow, as our severe weather threat tomorrow will shift from the western and central Dakotas and the Devil's Lake Basin to eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota. We'll get started on this right now. Thanks for joining me. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, and if you're just joining me now, make sure that you like the video. If you like the content, please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to, well, hit that little notification bell to make sure that you get notified when I am going live. If you have my app, you just got a notification sent your way from me right on the app here, and we let you know that I was coming up with an update. Now, you're looking at the scrolling screen here that's up, and in the meantime, we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to start with the forecast-focused update right now. Let's get started with what's going on across our area, and we're going to start with those high temperatures today. We really soared in the eastern third of North Dakota, 80s to near 90 degrees for many. Western Minnesota, sizzler, mid-80s to around 90 degrees today. Here's a look at rain that's fallen in the rain gauges. This is today. Notice this, the Langdon area up in northeast North Dakota, numerous locations in between gauges probably got more, but between a ½ inch and 1 inch up into northeast North Dakota. A pocket of storms that are just firing now in and around the James River Valley, 6700ths in northwestern Stutsman County. Numerous reports of a ½ inch to an inch of rain as well. Out in parts of Lake Sakakawea area and just north of Stark County here, where Dickinson saw 42/100ths. You go up towards Killdeer and Twin Buttes, many areas picking up some sizable moisture. Let's get to a look at that radar. I do want to point out we have severe weather that is working its way into the Jamestown area as we speak. So let's go down to this. Now, here's a look at the storm. Notice Medina and Cleveland, this cell here, this little triangle that you see, is the movement of that cell or storm. I got to stop this from rotating through a loop here. Okay, there we go. So there's the hail core just north of Interstate 94, moving up in that general direction of Woodworth. Again, much needed moisture, but we just don't need that hail on crops or the like. Now, as we take a look, that warning does extend out to near Jamestown, but this storm moving to the north. Individual thunderstorm cells have a movement to the north at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and they have throughout this event. 1 inch hail is the risk, but it does say now less than. There's a less than sign there. So hail under 1 inch in diameter, but some gusty winds will be possible with this storm. Now, the storm is moving in this northeasterly direction, so the wind will come at you from the southwest, and it's pushing into northern portions of the Stutsman County area north of Interstate 94 at this particular time, and that's what's going on there. Now, I am going to turn on the single site radar data so we get a clearer picture of the most recent scan. Jamestown sits smack dab in the middle of the two radar sites, one in the Bismarck area, one out in Mayville, and here's a look. So here's the hail core now getting ready to challenge the extended edge of this severe thunderstorm warning that has been in place. So that is where the hail core is right now over rural portions of Stutsman County, to the south and to the west, the south and to the east rather, of you folks in the Woodworth area. So there's the center of the hail core. It is 9.8 miles to the southeast of Woodworth right now. There are a couple of little cells about 7 miles to the southeast of the Woodworth area at this time. So that's a look at those storms. Now let's go elsewhere across the area with regards to strong thunderstorms near Lakota. This is just near the Brockett and Michigan area, Nelson County, north of Highway 2 here. So as we take a look at this storm, again, it's moving off to the north as well. We'll sneak the radar view over to the Mayville radar to get a closer view at these storms in northeast North Dakota right now. And you can see all the way from the Pembina crossing through the Highway 5 corridor here through Cavalier and all the way down into western parts of Walsh County, a cluster of stout thunderstorm cells. Individual thunderstorm updrafts here capable of producing some hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Adams all the way out towards the Edinburgh area, and then south of Mountain, we do have some of that activity continuing into the evening hours. Now, a couple of you were asking, hey, Hutch, is this going to impact Grand Forks later tonight? Is it going to impact Fargo? Let me get you the latest on the forecast. Again, each storm is moving northeasterly, and as that is the trend for the motion of these storms moving northeasterly, the whole line of storms that we see here, this batch and this batch, individual storms are moving northeast, but the whole line is slowly moving off to the east, very slowly, meaning very heavy rainfall will be making its way through. In these areas, some areas will have multiple storms pass through, as we've seen throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Let's get to a look at what the forecast has in store for us as we go through. To do that, I'm going to hop over here. We're going to pop up the latest forecast model run, and we'll show you what we do in meteorology in real-time forecasting. And I spent some time looking these over. This is a high-resolution rapid refresh model, or the HRRRRRR, if you're paying attention and you like to follow these things. Now, a couple of things. South Dakota, area of low pressure here, fueling some storms. Another area up to the north, fueling some storms. And along that boundary, the strongest cells have been skirting along the international border throughout the day. We've had a few pop off here in the heat of the day out in the James River Valley, and that's what we're seeing right now. As we put this into motion here for the next few hours, let's just worry about that. Now, here we go. As we head towards 10 o'clock here, you subtract 5 hours from this. So this would be about midnight, 10 to midnight. Look at, they don't make it that far. They just kind of punch into Kitson County here. So if you're in Kennedy, if you're up into western Roseau County in the Greenbush area, a chance for some of those Carlstadt as well. Notice that the activity that was in the James River Valley just kind of continues to float up. All of this activity in parts of South Dakota, rather, will continue its drifting off to the east and south, kind of splitting the Fargo area. So the chance of rain southeast North Dakota this evening, not too good. Now let's carry it on through a little bit of the later hours. And here, some of this activity from South Dakota starts trying to push into southeast North Dakota as we head towards daybreak. And it does look like showers overnight and into daybreak as we look off in towards places like Grand Forks, like you folks in Grafton, and all of you up there in that area of Roseau County as well. I'm going to go to a model that goes out just a pinch farther, and then we'll get to some questions for you as well as your forecast. So again, the hour by hour forecast. Let me get to a model run that's a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, so this is definitely showing that as we get into the morning and daybreak timeframes, that the chances of the rain really do diminish as we go through the overnight hours. But tomorrow brings a new and unique chance for severe weather. All right, a couple of things here. FJ, good to have you on board. In Steele, is it clear of the rain? If you look at the Steele area, yes, the line is by you right now, so that is an answer to your question. I'll pop that radar up to point out. So in Kidder County, all of these storms here have formed. The main event is moving off to the east. What's going on down to the south there? Let's see if the Bismarck radar is popping or showing any storms firing, rather, that would be moving in your general direction. And it does not look like it. Let me make sure that it's going to pull that up. There it is. Okay, so it's loading that up. Now, are there some showers and storms that are south of you? They're way down in Pierre. So by and large, steel looks to be out of the threat for anything severe. I can't rule out, I see these little pimples showing up on the radar site there, a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Here's a report of 1-inch diameter hail, quarter size hail reported. That was in the Pettibone area right in town. So damaging hail did fall from that south that's making its way into northern Stutsman County now. The National Weather Service is not continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for northern and central parts of Stutsman County. This activity moving into northern Stutsman County has dropped below severe criteria. What does that mean? Nickel-sized hail will be likely in Pingree. Buchanan, you're going to be right on the edge of it, but Pingree to Woodworth here has a decent chance at seeing some hail in places make their way through. Gusty winds to around 50 miles per hour or 55 miles per hour will be possible with that storm. That is a quick update there. Hey, Kay, good to have you on. Thanks for always keeping us informed. You are the best for watching. Share with a friend and let folks know that I'm here covering the weather. Anything for Lisbon? Well, it does look like we have a couple of showers and thunder showers just off to the west of you here in Lemoore County. Those are pushing their way up to the north, though, so they're not going to make a track towards you. Most of the models that I've been looking at show this thing really fizzling out as we go into the overnight hours. So for now, no. Now let's talk about tomorrow. Here is the thing. Today, we have a risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center in the yellow area here. So that's where we've been seeing storms form, and now they're drifting off into this green area, which is a level 1 risk of severe weather in that area. And that level 1 risk means a couple of storms might flirt with severe criteria tonight. The watches, the severe thunderstorm watches that are in effect for the area are set to expire as we go towards 10 o'clock. And the indications are generally showing that we do have an expectation for these storms to diminish. Now, as we go into the day tomorrow, here's the forecast, and we're going to tear this apart in this update. So if you have questions, drop by. If you have people that like watching meteorology, well, make sure that they know that we're talking about the weather. Hey, maybe someone can throw on a little highlight here for me on the Facebook side. Slight risk of severe storms from Pierre through Wahpeton, Millbank, South Dakota, Aberdeen, Sisseton, Huron, and Brookings, Fargo, and all the way up to Grand Forks. And also, look at this, Polk County, most of your area is in. As you take a look at the yellow here, you notice that Becker County right here and Monoman County completely in, but Becker gets cut in half. Otter Tail County gets cut in half. The yellow is a slight risk. A slight risk means we should see several thunderstorms like today become severe. Hail will be the main threat, but let's go over those real quickly from the Storm Prediction Center here. So as we take a look at the risks, let's start with hail. That is the number 1 risk as we go through the event. And here you go. As we look across South Dakota, you see the flashing that we have here in this hatched area. So even though the risk of hail in the brown area is 5%, that's a lower risk, but it jumps up to 15% in the yellow area. If you are in Pierre, Huron, Millbank, Wahpeton, Fargo, Moorhead, as well as Jamestown and Valley City, these areas have a 15% chance at seeing hail within 50 miles of any point on here. That does not mean everyone will see hail that's severe. The severe hail, though, could be quite large. Notice that this flashing box is showing up all over the place, and even outside the area of the slight risk. The slight risk was in yellow on that. All the way down to McCook, Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, not far from Grand Island as you go in towards areas near Chamberlain here. This flashing area means if a thunderstorm forms in these areas, the hail could be quite large. We're talking 2-inch diameter hail, much like what we're seeing today. So Fargo sits on the edge of that flashing zone. If you're in Wilkin County, if you're in Traverse County, you are in this flashing zone where if the hail forms in Hankinson, in Windmere, in Milner, Lisbon, as well as Enderlin, those hailstones could be sizable. And it's not a guarantee that we're going to see a lot of it, just some of it that forms could be is in an environment that is conducive to some very large hail. So that's a look at that. Now let's take a look at the risk for tornadoes and where that looks to be the highest. As of this evening, there is a risk of tornadoes. That risk is 2%. That seems low, but when your daily average percent is below a 0.5% chance, this is extremely elevated in these areas. So I'll be watching this real closely. Don't go canceling your plans. This is where the best chance at seeing some possibility for funnel clouds as we go through the day tomorrow, or tornadoes. Do they look like rip-roaring tornadoes? The chances of a major tornado or a intense tornado of F2 or EF2 or greater is quite low tomorrow. It's not zero, but it's quite low. So, but we do have a chance of some tornadoes, gusty wind, damaging wind, thunderstorms. Where is the risk of that the greatest? Right here from Fargo, Aberdeen, Huron, Watertown. We could have some winds approaching that 70-mile-per-hour range as new data keeps coming into Hutch here in the home studio. My home base, by the way, for those of you just joining, meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I've been covering the weather up here in the Northern Plains for the better part of the last 30 years as a chief meteorologist on broadcast television. Whoop, we got a reissuance of the severe thunderstorm warning now for northern Stutsman County. They said, yep, you betcha. We're going to continue that. That goes up into you folks in the Foster County area, and that's not just for thunderstorms anymore. Let's take a look at the warning from the National Weather Service. It is in effect until 9 o'clock. I got to fill in the blank up top for your time. Boom, shadizzle. For the next 47 minutes or so, or 45 minutes, we have ourselves a severe thunderstorm warning. It's moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Hail size estimate, it's not expected to be greater than the 1-inch diameter hail. So the hail size estimates are coming down as we talked about last night in Hutch's forecast. However, the gusty winds will be the possibility from these storms to 60 miles per hour. So here's a look at some areas that are going to be impacted by this gusty wind producing storm. Here is the leading edge of the thunderstorm activity. And I do want to point this out to you. If you've watched Hutch before, this is called the composite radar scan. It's the pretty one that we put on TV. It's all smooth. It's just giving us an idea of where. I don't like it. I like to look at the real single site radar information. It looks more pixelated at home, but it gives me real information on the greatest and newest scan that's out there, and it's not smoothed over. Here we can see moving right into Pingree is where that hail core is. Pingree, you got a chance for some sizable hail, upwards of nickel in diameter, possibly an isolated hailstone of around 1 inch in diameter, moving into town momentarily. So that's where the hail core is. Now, you see this kind of backwards C shape. When we get rain and hail collapsing from these towering thunderstorms, gusty winds will push out and they'll push from southwest to northeast. So the direction of movement of these gusty winds will be from the southwest to the northeast as we go into the next hour or so as these storms blow out. So expect winds from the southwest to blow in. We could see some gusts of around 60 miles per hour from these thunderstorm cells as they travel through. Here's your timing for the leading edge of the storm right now based on the latest scan. I'm going right up and hugging this pink level here, and that is going to tell us where the best chance at seeing that hail core move through will be. Moving to the north and east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, let's put it at 40, it will be in or near Kensal by 8:34. It's actually moving over Pingree right now, so if you have a report for Hutch, upload a report, drop it in the comments section, let me know what you're seeing, but seek shelter. Stay away from windows as this storm is moving through. Gusty winds can cause things like tree branches to fly up against your window. It can also cause things like hailstones to have a little bit of excess energy. Again, the storm will be blowing in from the southwest, and those winds will be from the south-southwest, moving in a north-northeasterly direction. If you happen to be in the Kensal area, 8:34, so it'll take just a bit to get to your area as well. Behind it, copious amounts of heavy rainfall look to continue. Again, not every single location will get the heavy rain. Let's talk about this. What's the radar showing? Well, this is an interesting thing. The radar is giving us real information about what it sees, but remember, the radar beam goes up at an angle away from the radar site in Bismarck. As it goes up at an angle, it gets higher and higher off the ground. So you're looking at a display of what's in the cloud well away from the radar site out there in parts of northern Stutsman County. So I'm going to tell you how high off the ground that is. Just 1 second while I try to get that. Okay, so here is that hail core, and we can read off on here that because we're up, pointing up in the sky at a 1/2 degree angle, and the Earth's surface is, as we go farther in distance, it curves away from the sky. So essentially, we are looking at an elevation of about 8,000 feet above the ground by the time we get into northern Stutsman County. So you're looking at a radar display of information 8,000 feet off the ground. Now, that doesn't mean that that raindrop is going to hit the ground right at this spot. But as we see the storm move northward, a lot of times that rain does fall out of the base of the cloud. Or maybe you get missed. Maybe you're in this storm where it's forming in the updraft, and at 8,000 feet above the ground we have big raindrops and hailstorms forming, but they're not hitting the ground over your area. So that's where your reports come in handy to help us see what's coming in the direction of people in Pingree and Kensal as this storm makes its way to the north and to the east. Now, as we switch the radar back over to the Mayville one, let's take a look. We got a hot cell, a hot spot, if you will, showing up in northern parts of Nelson County, just north of Michigan right now. That hail core there could be pretty stout. So we have some rural areas not far from you in Lankin and but western parts of Walsh County right now. That's moving in your general direction to the north-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And you folks anywhere from the Edinburgh area on out towards Adams are going to see a chance for some stout thunderstorm activity with heavy rain. These cells are moving in that northerly direction right now. So that is a look at what we have going on with regards to these storms. Let me take a look from this radar and see. Now, along the edge of these storms, we have some greens and reds next to each other. That is indicating some isolated areas of shear in the storm. It does not necessarily mean that a tornado is a real good bet with these storms tonight, but there is some shear, as we talked about, in the environment, and that shear is in this area at this time. I don't see any real hot spots with regards to shear right now that are standing out. Here is a look at the hail size estimates now as we take a look at the hail tracker. And on the hail tracker, Hutch's hail tracker showing that the big hail core system making its way out of the I-94 corridor, moving up into central and northern parts of Stutsman County. This is the cell that's going to be capable of up to 1-inch diameter hail as it works its way through. There's your hot spot we were seeing in northern Nelson County that's making its way to the north and east, and those other hot spots that are now out in that Adams area. The hail tracker does show us estimates of what this hail size might be. We're under 1 inch, so keep that in mind, and that's what the radar is estimating. And these heading in toward the Adams area, we see a 1.2 there. Doesn't mean that's necessarily what is going to hit the ground. The temperatures below the cloud can have something to say about that, but we could have some thunderstorms in western parts of Walsh County, basically west of Fordville and Edinburgh, that are capable of some up to 1-inch diameter hail in isolated places. So as we take a look at the hail indicator here, we don't see a lot going on. There's another little hot spot showing up down here in northern parts just south of Montpelier down there in the James River Valley. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at 1/2-inch diameter hail to maybe as high as 1-inch diameter hail in that cell. And that is a look at what we have going on. So that's your right now forecast. While we have this update going right now, let me see if we got any other questions. Saul, I'm watching from Grand Forks, North Dakota. It's windy here. Yeah, thank you very much. Let's go over a couple of those current conditions as we look at the area tonight and tomorrow. I do want to illustrate in a visual sense tomorrow's round of severe weather. So we'll get to that momentarily. Right now, temperatures rock in the mid-80s from Grand Forks right through Hillsboro and down into Fargo, Moorhead, all the way down through you folks out here in Osgood and right down into Wahpeton, Breckenridge. We're in the mid-80s. Cooler weather where the thunderstorms roam. We have low 70s there. And as we look off into Minnesota, we have temperatures near 80 from Hibbing and all the way through Grand Rapids and also near Walker, all the way to Bemidji. Up here in the Red Lake area, this is Waskish, and there is War Road right now at 79 degrees. As we look off into Montana, look what's going on here. A cool pool, folks, making its way in. Can you see it? Yeah, it's the blue pool of cool. Here's Glasgow, Montana, 61 right now. And as you go to Havre showing up at 52 degrees at this hour, and Plentywood staying plenty cool out there, but it's a little warmer there, 66 degrees rather. And as we look into Scobie, that temperature is in those 50s as well. Billings, 66. Sheridan, Wyoming, 68 degrees, with Wheatland sitting at 82 degrees right now. And now you said it was windy. Let's take a look at those gusts across the region. So we do have that southerly flow. It's rocking the gauge with gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour or so in the Red River Valley. We could be seeing a few gusts that are fairly stout as well in the Highway 200 corridor out there, and a 31 showing up right now near Gwinner and Foreman as we look at these wind gusts at this particular hour. Now, to fuel thunderstorms into the deep overnight, we need what's called a low-level jet. of warm, humid air feeding into them. As we take a look at the dew points also, we need dew points to be in the juicy 60s for these storms to really have a lot of rain water to work with in the atmosphere. So the lower atmosphere is laced with plentiful moisture in central and now eastern parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. And that's what's fueling some of these very heavy rain showers working their way through the region. So keep that in mind. We are still quite dry across most of Minnesota. We'll call it a comfortable mid 40s. So when the temperature is 81 outside and you happen to be outdoors in places like Brainerd, Wilmer, New Ulm, and even Minneapolis, dew points in the 40s, you have that dry feeling. You don't feel overly humid. It's not overly sticky, and your chances of rain go way down. And if you do get rain, sometimes a lot of it evaporates and such. So all of this, with the south winds that'll be ahead of the storm, will start shifting east as we go into the day tomorrow. And that's where we will bring and increase our chances for seeing some of that activity. Now, I'm going to let this load up on us, a couple of pieces of information here. So bear with my eyeballs moving around here as we continue to analyze these storms. Now, let's go back over here. I'm going to use this model over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is analyze tomorrow's storm a little better, a little more detail on the moisture available, the spin in the atmosphere, and the areas where the hail might be the most profound and best. Scary in Edmonds right now, Cedar Fox, Alistair. Thank you very much for that. So as we look across the region, and if you're looking into the Edmonds area, let's go ahead and take this radar back to the radar view here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we've got a lot of thunderstorm activity up here in the northeast part of the state right now, and you can't see it, but again, no severe thunderstorm warning is in your area. We do have some little pockets showing up in here that could have some hail up to about 1 inch in diameter. If you get something different, let me know when it's safe to do so, and we'll pass that along. I want to show you a look at some of the factors for tomorrow's weather and how it works its way through. Bear with me while I load up the model that I want to use for the event as we go into the day tomorrow. Now, here we go. Here's tonight's thunderstorm activity. It falls apart, and by morning we have just sprinkles left. As we go through the day, notice that most of the clouds and sprinkles will be moving up here. We're talking along the I-94 corridor, diagonally up in toward the Lake of the Woods and the Rainy Lake area. Spotty showers, not necessarily severe as we go through the morning part of the day. This is 2 in the afternoon. Watch what happens here. We have a low pressure center here. We have another one right up in this area. As we continue this into motion, this low pressure center starts to form and deepen. If that happens in an area of a low pressure system, we get a counterclockwise and inward flow. So you got your south winds keeping things warm. And remember those dew points I just showed you? The dew points will be starting to rise up into Minnesota. That's going to lace the air in the Red River Valley, particularly the southern Red River Valley and eastern parts of South Dakota right here, with abundant moisture for strong thunderstorms. So when we first see thunderstorms form, if we do get a low pressure center forming as this model suggests, there is going to be an area where we have winds that are curving around the top of this low, and they'll have an easterly flow or a northeasterly flow at the surface, while the upper air winds will be coming at us from the opposite direction. So if you want to think about that, just looking at this from what we call in meteorology the synoptic scale, you're seeing these flows coming around the storm this way, and you get wind shear. We're at the ground, the wind is blowing into your camera screen right now. But up above your head, the wind is blowing from the southwest. It's in the complete opposite direction. When that happens, we get a rolling tube of air over these areas, and that spin in a thunderstorm producing environment could cause a rotating updraft. It's not a guarantee, but it does increase this chance. As we showed you where the chance for the thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes was here in southeast North Dakota and northeast South Dakota, where my arm is just doing its exercise in here. Okay, now as we continue to put this into motion, watch the storms expand down to the south. This moves right into the Grand Forks, Fargo area, and then it makes its way down. We get a smattering of thunderstorms. As we get later in the evening, you're looking at about the dinner hour at 6 p.m. here. That's the timing of these storms. They move into Polk County. We're talking the Norman and Monoman County areas, but they become more straight-lined and linear. Yes, we could still have some shear or spin in the storms as we work our way through. Another low pressure center forming down here could mean another cluster of more intense cells developing in that particular area as well. As we head towards 10 o'clock at night, we'll have a long line of thunderstorms with gusty wind and hail being the main threat. The risk for tornadoes tends to diminish as we get into the dark 30 hours overnight. Then these storms are moving into places like Wheaton and also Morris, Benson. If you happen to be in the Alexandria area, you could see some showers and storms. You're looking here at Park Rapids and on our way out towards Walker. And also for you folks in Bemidji, a chance for some rain. Now, it's not a 100% chance of rain. These thunderstorms look big here, but you know how they're just tiny little thunderstorms that are only a 10-mile radius, right? So it's going to be hit and miss showers and storms that last into the midnight hour. Notice that you're getting them in the Brainerd Lakes area, right down through Little Falls and pushing its way in towards Montevideo. And then from Duluth straight down toward the Twin Cities as we get towards 5 a.m. And then they tend to fizzle out. That is a look at that and what we're seeing there. Let me see if I have some more comments by you viewers out there on what's going on. So pardon me while I'm looking around here. Okay, Brenda, good to have you on back. Good to have you. And Taylor says, hey, Hutch, is this heading to Fargo or just tuned in? So you just saw the forecast. Fargo's chance of rain tonight, very low. If we get any, it'll be more towards daybreak and it'll be spotty spits of precipitation, just some light showers of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder. Our best chance at thunderstorms comes in Fargo as we head into your forecast period here. So you're talking about your Wednesday evening, dinner time, as we go in the afternoon and dinner time, Valley City, Jamestown, Fargo, Hillsboro. You folks along the Highway 200 corridor will be in the mix as well. So anywhere from Cooperstown through Findlay and Hope and Page, all of you will have a chance for some stout thunderstorm development. This does lean over, and northern parts of Minnesota's best chance of some heavier rain will come as we go into the late evening hours, and then it dissipates. Again, not everybody will see the rain. Now we're going to break this storm down in a couple of the components that we were talking about earlier. We're looking at moisture. We got to have moisture in this storm. You're plotting dew point here. I want you to focus on this area of blue tonight. As we go to the evening hours, those humid values of dew point that are in the 60s are going to slide out of central North Dakota right into the valley. So we're going to lace our area with moisture overnight. Let me make sure I'm in the right time frame here. Yes, we are. Okay, so as we go into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we're going to increase the moisture. Boom, here it is. This sets the stage for abundant moisture at the lower levels of the atmosphere. So if we start lifting that air, we don't have to cool it very much for it to really form a cloud. That means your cloud bases are low, and that means all modes of severe weather will have a little more energy to work with as we go through. Now, as we go through your Wednesday night late into Thursday morning, we start to see the drier air out to the west move in. That means clearer skies, more comfortable conditions, but the soupy air sits in place by Thursday morning, right through places like St. Cloud, all the way down in towards Sioux Falls here and up on a diagonal for you folks in the Duluth area, including the Brainerd Lakes area, Walker, as well as Park Rapids. So this humid chunk of air sits here and will fuel another round of Friday showers and thunderstorms across the region as well. So that's the moisture characteristics of this storm. Now we're going to look at the severe weather threats. And again, one thing I'm going to look at here is going to be the convective energy in the atmosphere that we call CAPE. CAPE, convective atmospheric potential energy. Here we go on our Wednesday. Notice where it peaks. Eastern South Dakota, the energy in the atmosphere because of the high heat will be high. We're not going to achieve 88 degrees tomorrow in Fargo, but just out here in Minnesota, we could. So the convective energy is going to be there in parts of the eastern Dakotas with storms developing, and then the energy kind of goes away quickly, which is a good sign for the overnight hours. Now we're going to look at some other factors, and we're going to look at some spin in the atmosphere a little bit, and we're going to look in the lowest levels of the atmosphere as we go through the day. And we want to highlight areas where that spin might be maximized. And what you're looking at here, remember, this model had a low pressure center kind of forming right here with these. And if that happens, we will get enhanced areas of spin associated with the storms while they're moving through and then quickly gone. And then as we get toward the midnight hour, that energy and spin is going to weaken and go away. So hail, the number one threat for your Wednesday in the Red River Valley and eastern South Dakota and western Minnesota. The number 2 threat will be watched very closely will be the gusty straight line winds where they develop, and that becomes an increasing risk in the evening hours once we get past or near sunset. And then that tornado risk. It's low, but it's not zero. I don't see a risk for any of these long track violent tornadoes. But we can tell you that there is going to be some spin in the atmosphere associated with these storms, and I'll have my trained eye on the radar for you. Now a question, thank you very much, Heartland Weather Lab. I appreciate it, and thanks for following and watching. Let's see. Sent Sunday for 100 joules. Hey, all right. I like joules. Now, if you like what's going on, please hit the like button. If you have a comment, even commenting does help. Hey, Taylor says, just tuned in and looking to see what's going on in Fargo and love the reporting. A pronunciator for me. Jerry says we pronounce it pettibone. Pettibone. So is the E, what would you call it? When you put an accent on it, is that accented pettibone? Or did I say pettibone and it's pettibone? My mistake. I don't know where I'm supposed to put the emphasis. So let me know on that too. I appreciate you with helping me out, Jerry. So I've been working up here for an awful long time, and a lot of communities I go to, some people pronounce it a little bit differently. So I appreciate the insight. Thank you so very, very much. All right, you're looking at a look now at the severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. We'll put this up on here. The yellow counties, 10 o'clock tonight. We have severe thunderstorm warnings here near Hot Springs, severe thunderstorm warnings near Devil's Tower, one out here in Montana right now, severe thunderstorm warning in northern Stutsman County. This yellow box is a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Notice that this model just starts to show the onset of the thunderstorms tomorrow as we go through. I'm going to coax this model to go out just a little bit farther by talking to its friend and whispering sweet, nice things into its ears. And let's see if it will carry this out. This is a completely different model, so do not be surprised if it looks a little bit different. There's tonight's storms rumbling through. There's the morning activity making its way through. Thunderstorms tomorrow firing up and moving off to the east. So now you get a different feel for what this is going to look like as we go through from this particular model. But again, this isn't my go-to model of choice. Here is what's supposed to be going on as we head toward the late night hours. Stutsman County showers and storms could be drifting off to the east. And then notice how they just fizzle out as we go beyond the overnight hours. So if Fargo does get anything at all, it'll be overnight or into the morning time frame, 6 to 8 a.m. tomorrow on your Wednesday morning when we have a chance. This model shows much more activity in South Dakota, mind you, than the opposing model that I was showing almost nothing. I tend to concur with the almost nothing category. Now, let's say this. If we do have thunderstorms in the area in the morning, the clouds and the thunderstorms themselves, if the clouds linger, we're not going to get any heating out here ahead of the storm, and it's going to limit some of the severe potential tomorrow. But you saw the moisture available. Here we go as we go into the afternoon hours. This model is firing some storms here in western Minnesota and another line in central North Dakota that will be passing through the Red River Valley and Fargo. So if you happen to be in Hillsboro, Fargo, Wahpeton, Breckenridge, Lakes Country out here, Otter Tail County, this model showing a very good chance of at least some areas picking up much needed moisture as we go through. That would include mainly along and south of Highway 2, a big gully washer and frog strangler down there in the southeast part of South Dakota, Sioux Falls, Yankton, as well as you folks in Chamberlain. Those move off into parts of Sioux City and western Iowa, and then look at them fall apart, much like tonight's storms. Now, I'm going to close with a look at the thunderstorm warning once again for our Stutsman County. We got a couple of wind reports out here, which is likely why the severe thunderstorm warning was extended for that area. Let's get on it. Okay, here we go. Shazam, shadizzle. And here we go. All right, so the severe thunderstorm warning, we did get a Kenzel report of some gusty winds. This gusty wind was 59 miles per hour. It was 3 miles west-northwest of Kenzel. It was the public measured the wind gust at a private weather station. 59 miles per hour measured there. Thank you for your reports. Remember, we just talked about this. Those collapsing hail and rainstorms can burp out some nasty winds. By the way, what is severe winds? 58 miles per hour. So it just reached that threshold of what is severe. What about outside of Pingree? So if you happen to have been in Pingree, we got a wind report here of 61 miles per hour. So 58 to 61 mile per hour can start breaking off substantial sized branches. If you happen to have your shed open, that's not good. It can destroy the roof or blow down sheds. So gusty winds start causing significant damage to roofs, buildings, and even trees once we get into that 60 mile per hour category. And that is why that is the threshold for us. So that's what's going on here. Now, as we look up north near Lakota, we're talking about a few of you. Petersburg seeing some showers and storms, things sounding a little scary out there. We have a hot spot north of Michigan right now. So as we go to that one here, there could be some hail crossing over the Highway 35 corridor as we look up into parts of northeastern North Dakota right now. And Lankin out there in the Walsh County area, seeing these showers and hail cells making their way in. Lower than nickel-sized hail is likely in this area now. There could be one or two stones that do get up a little bit bigger. And by the way, when you're looking outside to report what fell in your area, grab the largest stone, take anything you have to measure it with, like a quarter is an inch in diameter. Compare it to the quarter and report your hail size that way. The largest stone measuring the largest width. Thanks for the Pingree update, says Cedar Fox. You're very welcome. Park River, you got some heavy rain down to the south of you. Again, these individual cells are moving northeasterly at about 35 miles per hour. So what's in the Edinburgh area here? We do have more making its way into your neck of the woods as well. So thank you very much. All right, so we got St. Thomas with showers and storms, Hoople with some showers and thunderstorms working their way through. Then as we go off down here into Bathgate Cavalier, we're seeing some pretty good size super soakers out in that neck of the woods. Now, from time to time tonight and throughout the day, I've gone to take a look at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. What you're looking at here are areas that they end-on sites have set up cameras to view what's going on. This is a North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network, but it has expanded into parts of easternmost Montana, as well as across western and southern Minnesota, as the Minnesota State Climatology Office starts taking some ideas from the North Dakota team here that has put together one heck of a network of instruments for our agricultural needs. Now, as we take a look at this area up in and around Pettibone, let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can find out what this looks like out there as these storms are making their way through. So here's Courtney. Let's go to Woodworth. Let's go to Courtney and see what we've got. Oh my goodness, there we got some darkening skies. See the backlight here? You can see the sunlight coming underneath the thunderstorm cloud. That means it's all updraft and very little rain. Over here, we don't see no sunlight. That's just a torrential downpour of rain blocking the backlight and the sunlight back there. So that is a look. You're looking at the view from Courtney and 5 miles to the west of that location. Let me see. No designation as to the direction that is pointing at this time. Also, looking up, okay, that's Woodworth, and we've got green grass, I can report, in Woodworth, North Dakota right now. Now, as we look from Jamestown, here's a look at some of the skies, and we got some of these, you know, you might call them sawtooth-like clouds, okay? So you got updrafts coming up into the storm, and that air, as it rises and cools, it condenses and makes clouds underneath the thunderstorm base. Some of those are what I like to call SLCs, scary looking clouds. You kind of watch these lowering cloud bases, by the way, though. If they are attached to the parent thunderstorm, those would be wall clouds, and then you watch those for rotations. Most tornadoes come from wall clouds. Again, you got the rain all over the place down here, and you got the rain-free base over here. This is the updraft building part of the storm, and that is the downdraft part. That is looking from 10 miles to the west, looking northeast of Jamestown, looking northeast of Jamestown right now. So as we sneak northward now and we head up into the areas north, all right, thank you for the sunshine and 200 joules. And hi, Argyle Dragon. How are you? Have you seen any northern lights there? Argyle Dragon operates an awesome little view of the northern lights from, well, you guessed it, Argyle out there in the northern Red River Valley. Let's take a look at some of these storms that are pummeling the Cavalier area. So as we get out towards Langdon, here we got it. Okay, this is a view of what direction we're looking northwest from Langdon, north and west, showing things are drying up out on the western horizon. And you can see where the sun is fixing to set down here in the northwest sky, giving us an idea of where we're looking there. We want to look the other way towards where most of those storms are. So let's go into Crystal, North Dakota, and woo-wee, we got us some wet, soggy fields out here out in Crystal, 4 miles northwest of town. This view is looking off to the west of Crystal, so there's more storms up to the right and moving north of you right now in that particular area as well. So we can look there, we can look elsewhere. Let's see if we can get a view down here from Adams. Okay, we are looking from Adams. This is 5 miles north of town, and we're seeing some sunshine. So you're looking to the northwest over there at the setting sun for the day. See if I can get any other views of these storms working their way out of the Devil's Lake Basin. This must be a northwesterly view as well. You're seeing the sunset out there from Webster. That is looking nice. Now let's see if this one's pointed to the west. Okay, this is in Warren off in Minnesota, and we can see the gray skies. There is a chance, but it'll be much, much later for the Minnesota side of the river to see some of this activity moving in. The radar is showing a little bit pushing into you folks up there in northwesternmost parts of Kitson County right now. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome, Argyle Dragon. Thanks for letting me use your content when you have it up and available. And I always appreciate a shout out from you when you're seeing something fun. That way we can share with others what's going on out there. Thank you, Brenda, for the comments. Hey, Hutch. Is this heading to Fargo? Yeah, it does look like, well, look at here. We got some Drayton thunder showers moving in. Let me take a look at what's going on in and around. Well, we don't have any not many cameras there in Marshall County, but let's go to Pekin. Okay, this is a nice view. You're looking at the setting sun down there. That would be looking off to the west-northwest. And now you're looking off here at some lowering cloud bases and maybe some rain down there. So looking out to the west of Pekin, it looks like there's some activity going on. Oh, my picture. That's Lollipop. Okay, it's his birthday today and he's 24th. Happy birthday, Lollipop. Good for you. Now let's take a look at what I can't get a view of Lankin. I want to get a view down the Highway 200 corridor. Let's see what we can see there. No, not much. Cooperstown, maybe. Let me go there. Okay, so in Cooperstown, we're going to look there. Now you're looking off to the south and west. There is a dark cloud and thunderstorm off to the west-northwest of the Cooperstown area with some clearing skies on the backside. So that is a look at what's going on from the North Dakota Agriculture Weather Network, which is kind of fun, kind of cool to look at. Here's a view from the North Dakota DOT cameras. These can be equally as helpful. Let's go out to Walsh County and see if we got something close to Grafton here. Now we can get a view of wet roads. And let's see, there is some pretty heavy rain there in the distance making its way through. This is the Edinburgh area out there as we see those roads getting wet and the much needed rainfall happening in a big way there as we look through the areas in and around Walsh County. Here is a look at Cavalier as we take a peek at this shot, and you can see all of the rain hitting the roads there. Nothing too violent. The skies are certainly a little bit darker as we peer in this general direction here. Along Highway 5 at this particular time. And now if we take a look at the Pembina border crossing, let me zoom way in. This was giving me some fits earlier. Let's see if I can pop that up. Okay, here you got some big time heavy rain soaking the fields out there. This is right at the border crossing as you go northbound at the northernmost site there as you're crossing into the port of entry here. So we do have some pretty doggone heavy rain making its way through the northern I-29 corridor at this time. So that's a view around the region right now. Let me see if this will give me a view. I zoomed out way too far of the Stutsman County storms in northern Stutsman County. I do not have a camera there, but let's see if I can see anything from Jamestown. Most of these cameras, by the way, are pointed at the road surface, and that's what they're there for the winter analysis of road conditions. But yeah, I'm not seeing too much of a... We got a wet road cone out there, and that's about the half of it from the I-94 corridor. Okay, that's a look at that. Back to a look at the rainfall. Now we're going back to the radar. And what I do want to point out here Okay, we got some new information coming in here. Another warning for Cooperstown. Okay, here we go. So these severe thunderstorms now are starting to move up toward the edge of this severe thunderstorm warning box, are now pushing into southwestern parts of Griggs County. We do have a lot of wind reports with this cluster of thunderstorms as the hail and this storm is collapsing. It's cooling the air by evaporating moisture into it. And when we get colder air, it gets more denser. And then that, well, it falls out of the cloud falling a little faster, I should say. So here's a look at what we have going on. We do have a wind report here. This is a gust of 58 miles per hour from a mesonet or a small network station measured at the Endon station, 5 miles west of Courtenay. 58 mile per hour gust was measured there. And again, these storms are the number one threat, becoming wind now as we head into the nighttime hours. We still could be seeing a little bit of hail in these cells from Spiritwood straight down toward the I-94 corridor there as you're going toward the Spiritwood exit. So that is what we're seeing there. And the warning for Cooperstown, Binford, and Hannaford look like this. It's in effect until 9:45. So for the next hour, the storm's moving northeast at 38 miles per hour. Expecting hail to about, 3/4 of an inch in diameter, but 60 mile per hour wind gusts will be the main threat from these storms. Now, here's an interesting thing that we can look at from this particular storm. From the Mayville view, a radar sends out a beam right towards the storm, and it goes into the thunderstorm like this. If the raindrop or hailstone is moving, then we can detect its motion, but we can only detect its motion along the radar beam, toward the radar or away from the radar. Okay, so as we're looking at this storm from the view of the Mayville radar, the wind gusts, it's going to be looking right into the wind gusts. So the Mayville radar should give us a very, very excellent estimate of what the winds are that are blowing exactly towards Mayville. The wind gusts here, see this backward C shape forming? That would suggest that the wind gusts will be more from a west-southwesterly direction and in the general direction of Mayville. So what we're going to do is not look at storm relative velocity. We're going to look at single site velocity data. This is called radial velocity, and it's the speed of the air towards or away from the radar. We see greens. This means we have a pocket of very, very fast-moving air towards Mayville, North Dakota. So we can draw a beam from that pink dot right there, right into Mayville, and that's it measuring. What does this pink area mean for wind speeds? Let's go ahead and ask Hutch's radar. Oh, Mr. Radar, radar on the wall. Okay, so up at cloud level, this is above the ground, we are measuring a 60 mile per hour gust in this area. You can see this area where the wind is gustier by the brighter colors moving along this line. If you are in Hannaford, you are in the path of this stronger wind gust. So areas off to the west of the Highway 1 corridor are seeing this gusty burp of air. This is up at cloud level. Remember, a radar is showing us what it sees on that beam that's pointed up in the sky by a 1/2 degree angle. So there it is. It's up above the ground a little bit. Could it hit the ground? Yes, it can. Energy from this 60 mile per hour gust that's being measured by Doppler radar can get mixed down to the ground. Think of a downdraft coming out of the storm and whoosh, there goes your hat, ladies and gentlemen. There is a pocket of strong winds still on the backside of the storm right now as we go out towards Courtenay, and those wind speeds are around 50 to 55 miles per hour as measured by the Doppler radar moving exactly towards Mayville. Okay. If these winds are truly moving more westerly or more northerly, then we're just measuring a small portion of the wind that is pointed in the direction of Mayville. So keep that in mind. It's only good to measure when it's blowing right into the radar beam, but that's a pretty good guesstimate based on what I'm seeing here. So we do have a smattering of thunderstorm warnings. This polygon right here that includes Kensal, Spiritwood, and Wimbledon. Then we do have this polygon, the new one. This is for Griggs County, Binford, Hannaford. This gusty wind, it looks like it's heading right in the general direction of Hannaford to Cooperstown on Highway 1, and we'll be crossing there. Now, the motion of this storm, if we go ahead and ask it, is moving off to the northeast at 38 miles per hour. 38 miles per hour. So there's your measurement. Now let's go ahead and measure this gust front right here, the gusty air boom. And it's going to be moving in this general direction. And we're going to put it in here at 35 miles per hour. And the burp of gusty wind is heading towards Binford by 8:59. So let's see what happens, Binford. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know what you got. The gust of wind will be heading towards Hannaford by 9 as we head into Annetta and Finley and Sharon. All of those areas around that 9:30 time frame will see a chance of that gusty wind making its way into your area. Thank you so much. Psalm, I'm glad you're liking that. Thank you very much. See if we have any other comments or questions on here. I don't see it. So I'm going to continue to cover the weather here, obviously, as we do still have severe thunderstorms rumbling through the area. Again, the main threat now is shifting from very large hail, close to 2 inches in diameter, to more of a wind event here. We have a couple of areas of concern in North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. This batch of thunderstorms, each individual cell moving to the north and east, but the whole line is slowly crawling this way. The forecast suggests that this will continue moving east, but eventually start waning in intensity, decreasing in intensity, and falling apart. This activity will be moving north and east, but generally, if we keep seeing formation of new storms, it will be moving east. So yes, Grand Forks, Emerado, and you folks out here into the Michigan area, Michigan City, I should say, will be having a chance at seeing some more thunder shower activity. And look what's going on in Harvey there in Wells County, a little trailing action on the backside of the storm. This is from the Mayville radar. That's what we see. Let's go to the Aberdeen radar. Is there any development in parts of South Dakota? It's way down near Pierre, and that's the activity associated with what was moving out of the Black Hills. So these storms south of winter are and heading towards Valentine. Yep, big time hail coming out of those storms right now still. So they still have some hail energy in them as we look down south of winter with a report of 1 3/4 inch diameter hail. That was at Oak Creek, out there at about 7 miles southwest of that location. So we do have some gusty winds also being reported from some storms out to the southwest part of the state, Ogallala up there. And now as we take a look at what's going on in and around, wow, how about that? Devil's Tower now moving into southeast Montana, Ekalaka, Baker, that area seeing some strong thunderstorms. These are moving north. So for my family out there in southeast Montana, if you happen to be out there, you got some thunderstorms moving in your general direction. We know we need some moisture down in these areas. We don't need hail, but we got one hail core right here. You got another one right here. And I think that's about it. We do see a little bit of one right across the Wyoming border there, just north of Hewlett. Now let's take a look at these storms. The warning for eastern parts of the county here. It looks like 1 inch diameter hail is the estimate, moving north at about 31 miles per hour in rural portions of your county there near Powderville. Now, as we take a look at this southernmost warning, these storms have advanced and are now sitting in the middle part of the warning polygon. Here's the main core, and it's moving north. It's also in rural portions of the county down here. So again, some isolated hail along Highway 212 and also some hail that will be moving along the eastern reaches of the county area there as we go through and look at that. That is, well, Powder River County and Carter County out there in parts of southeast Montana. Okay, that's a look at our weather right now. We've talked about the forecast. Let's talk about the 7-day planner and the forecast for the morning. Here it is. First thing in the morning, spotty spits and sprinkles here in the Southern Valley will be possible. Still some spotty showers possible in northwest Minnesota. Temperatures will be near 60 to 65 for most until we get toward the Montana border. Then we'll have some mid-50s and even some 40s out there in parts of northern central parts of Montana. In Minnesota, most areas will see 60s except the North Shore, with more 50s there. South winds, though, that's going to increase the moisture in these areas. The humidity will be on the rise in Minnesota. It will feel much more sticky tomorrow than it did today. And then as we look out here, out to the west, we're drying out, and some of that sticky and humid air will be able to wave goodbye to it. Now, as we look at the forecast then, as we head into the afternoon, here's the area with the greatest risk of severe thunderstorms. They fire somewhere out here and they will roll their way off to the east and continue moving off into Minnesota. It does not mean you will not see storms in Brainerd. It's just the risk of severe is a little bit higher off into the Red River Valley counties of Minnesota and North Dakota and eastern South Dakota. And all modes of severe weather, as we showed you, will be possible. Fargo sits on an edge. This is a tough forecast. I'm just going to say it that way. We could be in the mid-70s for the better part of the day if we get those clouds lingering all morning, but it does look like to me we'll be near 80 degrees. Look at this. We're talking 85 Fergus Falls and out into Becker County, so it really will be an edge of warmer weather. 72 Grand Forks, 60s out in the Devil's Lake Basin, all the way out towards Minot, Rolla, Rugby, and out into the Bismarck area. 65 degrees for your 4 p.m. snapshot temperature. Wind will be southerly and stronger in Minnesota. It will be southerly and weaker in the valley, but as you go out here into Montana, we're talking about a west or a northerly flow of cooler air, keeping your temperatures in those comfortable 60s for most of you. Maybe a little cool though feeling after some of the hot weather we have had. Now, taking a look at your 7-day planner, and this is where we'll wrap it up and take one last look at the radar. Number one, I've got these red boxes on here. What in the heck is that? Well, you know what this is? This is where we'll have our best chance for some strong thunderstorms. So we could see some strong thunderstorms again tomorrow night. We've dug into that pretty deep. 78 degrees, your afternoon high temperature. We could have a morning spit of rain. If we get clearing, that's going to only increase our chances of seeing some stronger thunderstorms in our area tomorrow. We stay near 80 with more sunshine through Thursday until late in the evening. And there'll be a chance for some showers and thunderstorms into Friday morning. Now, I don't think those look to be too strong or severe at this point, but as we go from Friday night into Saturday, we could see a strong one or two in the heat of the day with temperatures in those near 80 degree ranges. Look at the heat. Saturday, a nice summer-like weekend starter. And then as we head into Sunday, it's getting hot with night storms. And night storms, 87 degrees, and those storms will be moving into Monday morning, and then we cool off into the low 80s. We could still see some thunder showers that could be strong on Monday. We're hitting that time of year where things get to be just a little bit on the severe side from time to time. Our most active severe weather season is ahead of us. All right, Jessica, do you happen to have a forecast tomorrow? For tomorrow for the FM area? Thanks. We just went over that, so we got 78 and 65, but I did get a request from some friends of mine. And if you happen to be a Spud fan, they are playing at the state baseball tournament tomorrow and are very interested in what's going on out near the Twin Cities for state baseball. Ricori, I think, is where they're playing. Let me show you what we got, Coach. All right, Coach calls Hutch and says, "What's up, Doc?" And I'm saying, let's see here. Let's go to the modeled forecast. And now you can see this. Now we're going to zoom in on your area of concern. So here we go. All right, so as we look into the general vicinity, just to the southeast of the Twin Cities, right in here, this is where we're going to be playing some baseball as we go through your day tomorrow. Here's the forecast and the timing of any storms. So baseball tournament for state looks good. Afternoon, south winds, hot, humid weather developing. Temperatures in the mid 80s to upper 80s. And then as we go into the evening hours, you're looking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see some thunderstorms to the north of the Twin Cities. Notice where they're at. They're way out here in the Red River Valley getting started as we go through 6 p.m. So unless you're playing big-time dark baseball out there, Coach, it looks like things down here at the Ricori area will be seeing a chance of showers as we go overnight and into your Thursday morning, and that's when the best chance at a few sprinkles will be. But after a long day of baseball, you'll want to cool off. So the risk for severe weather is low in and around the Twin Cities and the Ricori area. Good luck, Spuds. Good luck, Spuds. That's what we got for you. No problem if you're late to the party. Thank you for asking, and that is it. Let's go ahead and get back to the radar, updating you on some severe thunderstorm warnings across the area right now. The Stutzman County area into Griggs County right now seeing the strongest of the thunderstorm cells. I am going to keep my live streaming, and I'll be back with an update here as I continue to monitor the storms. The main threat from this line of storms moving your way will be gusty straight line winds on the order of 60 miles per hour. Just nonstop, very slow moving rain up there in northeast parts of North Dakota. And Hutch says it's been up there for an awful long time. So Hutch says, let's look at the radar estimates. So as we take a look at these colors that will populate here momentarily, the brighter colors means heavier rain. Now, where we see this as you go into Pembina and Cavalier counties here, the blues, those are the highest amounts of rain, and it's still falling heavily in these areas. How much rain is this estimating? Again, it's just an estimate. These can be skewed a little bit, but it'd be interesting to see your rain gauge reports. Some areas in along the Highway 5 corridor here between Langdon and Cavalier have estimates of over 2.5 inches of rain in these areas. So from Milton straight in through the Walhalla area and on towards Netchie, we have some pockets of 2+ inches of estimated rainfall in these areas. 2.8 inches north of Adams showing up here. How about this hot spot showing up north of Munich? So as we go out towards the Towner County line border here, we're looking in this area at about 3 inches in and around the Calvin area, particularly south of Calvin where we see this. We could have some areas with 3¼ inches of rain. Calvin looking like maybe 2.3 inches for your particular area. Getting into Rock Lake, rainfall estimates there around 1/2 inch. Then as we go in towards Callio, we're looking at 1.6 inches of rain. Starkweather, it looks like the estimate there is 1 inch. And then as we go to Church's Ferry, almost nothing. Getting skipped. Remember, there's places that get skipped. And the Doppler radar estimates like this can sometimes help us see and understand why, we just didn't get any there, even though it looked like the radar looked like it was raining dogs and cats and fiddles. All right, as we go out towards Dunseith to Belcourt, we have numerous areas that have between 1.5 and 2 inches of rain, straight down to the east of Willow City as you cross the Highway 2 corridor. Roulette, not so much for you, it shows 0, but as you go off to the east, that's 2 inches right quick. So big time, you know, you're either getting a lot or you're getting none, feast or famine, as it were. And as we go down to the south just a little bit, we're looking at Barton and about 1.75 inches of rain. Now, for those of you interested in the Minot area, we got near 1 inch of rain. Bottineau area, about 1/2 inch of rain. So you get down here towards the Garrison area, not much in Garrison itself. You're seeing 1/10 inch, but where we see the purple colors here, that's looking to be around 3/4 inch straight down into Dickinson. So as you go south of Kildare here, it looks like a good bet for Halliday. Golden Valley seeing some beneficial rainfall to the tune of 1 inch there. And now we can take a look at some of the buckets of rain and how much fell in the individual rain gauges. And to do that, we're going to look at the end-on site here and a look at precipitation for the past 7 days. Look at this. This is real interesting. So we had a weekend of wet weather for some. You get into Emmons County here as you go in towards the Wishick area, Napoleon, 3.25 inches of rain. In and around Lake Sakakawea, 1¾ to 2 inches of rainfall. Southwest North Dakota picking up between 1/3 inch and 1 inch of rain. 1 inch in Williston. Same thing goes as you go out to the west of Williston towards Freud, Montana. 6/10 picked up there. Now, as we look up into northeast North Dakota, we're still getting rainfall persisting in these areas, but the gauges have anywhere between 1.5 inches and 2.15 inches in northwestern Walsh County, North Dakota, 1.49 in the Langdon area. Not so much in Fargo Moorhead. We're going to be starved for rain tonight. Tomorrow will be our best chance at seeing some. Same thing goes for Roseau County down into Pennington County. We did get a little bit of rain over the last 7 days as we look off into Polk County here, but in the last 24 hours, not so much. How about 44/100ths as we look on the Clay County line with Becker County there? Now let's take a look at the rainfall for today. I put that somewhere else. Let me find it. Here it is. So for today, you can see the big goose eggs here in western Minnesota. We're getting some good moisture and beneficial moisture showing up here between, 12/100ths out here. And there is some rain coming your way down there in southeastern parts of the Pembina and Cavalier County areas, and 1.42 though in northwestern Walsh. That's a beautiful amount there. And northern Stutzman County getting hit with severe weather now, so we're adding totals to that area as we continue as well. All right, I will be back. I'm going to put you on the fun page right here as we'll keep my eyes on the skies for you. I'm going to put together a little bit of dinner. And what you're going to notice here as we go through is some music playing. I'll set the radar up to zoom and scan across, and you'll be able to see in the upper right-hand corner all of the latest forecast imagery I've made for tomorrow's severe weather risks as well. So that will be it. In the window I'm standing in front of right now, waving at you, that is a look at the radar forecast, or the future radar over the next 24 to 48 hours. So we'll put that in motion on a regional view. What you're seeing, a loop in front of you, is the date and time of the future radar passing through the region as we go into your day tomorrow. And then we'll set this up to show you radar data here around the region where we have active weather continuing. Remember, our severe thunderstorm watch lasts until 10. I will keep you posted right here. Thank you so very much for being a part of Hutch's Weather, and I will be back here in just one moment as we continue. Oofta! You haven't heard? Sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button.
You're watching Hutch's Weather live. We're taking a quick breather. While Hutch prepares the next data sweep, check in from your neck of the woods in the chat. Let us know what you're seeing out your window. It's how we stay weather aware together. Stick around. Hutch is back in a moment to take your questions and track the latest alerts. For the next update to stay safe between Hutch's live reports, the Hutch's Weather app is your best way to stay alert. Grab it now and never be caught off guard by the changing weather. If this coverage is helping you stay prepared, consider giving the stream a thumbs up. It helps the system push these alerts to more people in the path of the storm. See you in the chat. Keep the reports coming. Hutch is monitoring your local updates in real time. If you're seeing a change in the weather in your area, drop your city and current conditions now. You are our eyes in the field. Let's build this forecast together. Providing live coverage for the thousands of you across the northern plains is a responsibility we don't take lightly. Thank you for trusting Hutch's Weather. Grab a quick refill, take a second to share an update from your neighborhood in the chat. And we'll be right back to continue monitoring these developments together. Your safety is our mission. When storms arrive, we gon' lie with eyes on the sky. We stand by your side. Through the ice and the snow, through the blizzard's call, Hutch is the weather, we're here for it all. Standing strong with you, no matter the storm. Anywhere, anytime, on HutchesWeather.com. You won't find any hype here, just the data, the radar, and the truth. Thank you for trusting Hutch's Weather for your severe weather updates. While Hutch resends the maps, make sure your notifications are turned on so you never miss a critical update. We're back real soon to keep monitoring the threat. Stay weather ready.
All right, everybody, meteorologist Hutch Johnson coming back at you with a little bit more information. There's a new warning issued for our neighbors in Grand Forks County. I want to get this out right away. Now, this does include parts of Griggs County. Steele and Trail counties near Mayville are also included, Northwood, Larimore, for this gusty line of storms that's blowing in towards Cooperstown right now. So the confidence in the fact that this one could have some extended coverage of strong to severe winds as it works its way through. Now, I do want to point this out. These computers, sometimes it says, oh, here's where the storm is. No, that's not the case. This is the storm, but it's moving off to the northeast fairly quickly. Let's go ahead and highlight what this says. Now, these storms moving northeast at 48 miles per hour, they've increased, and also 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible. Remember, we have a way to check in on this, so let's do it. But first and foremost, with a speed of about 50 miles per hour, these puppies are going to be on you fairly quickly in some of these communities. So here's the leading edge of the gust front right here. Whoopsies. Let me redo that. I don't know what happened to my crayon here. Okay, so here's the leading edge of the gust front, moving at this direction, and not 72 miles per hour, but 50 miles per hour. We'll put the gusty winds near Hannaford at 9:15, Cooperstown 9:22. Binford, you're in the mix as well in that same time window. Finley, Anita, Hope, all of you will see it around that 9:40 time frame. Northwood 9:58, and on towards Hatton by 10 o'clock. Mayville 10:03 if it continues to move in that general direction. So keep in mind, wind is going to be the number one threat. Now, we do have the ability to look into the cloud here and take a peek at the gust front. Now, let me see. Do I see any evidence of an outflow boundary? Not yet. Nope, I'm not seeing that. So what you're looking at is this backwards C shape here. It's pushing off in this general direction, and this moving at about almost 50 miles per hour will be pushing out in this general direction. Hannaford, you do have a strong thunderstorm that's moving into your area. Small hail, ½ inch to nickel in size, and then the gusty winds will be blowing their way up towards Binford and on towards Sharon and Finley here in the next few minutes. So that is what the new warning is for your area in and around Grand Forks County, gusty straight line winds. Now, we can look right into this storm from the Mayville radar. We're looking right into these gusty winds here south of Cooperstown. See the bright spot here? Those are stronger winds on that south side of the storm. So we'll take a look at that. And I'm also starting to see an indication right here. You see this little blank area, and then boom, that is the gust front. How in the world do we get that? When wind blows out from a thunderstorm, it blows a pool of cold, cool air. That cool air flows out away from the thunderstorm towards Sharon, and it's going to force the lifting of the air out here that's warm and humid. That creates a little cloud. So what you're looking at right here is some water drop sized particles inside this cloud moving out of Cooperstown. So that tells Hutch that this gust front is out ahead of the main thunderstorm. So let's look at the wind velocities that the radar is picking up. We're seeing some 65-mile-per-hour readings in through here, okay? So as we zoom in on these kind of teal or aquamarine ones, we're seeing near 70 miles per hour. Why is the National Weather Service saying 70-mile-per-hour gusts possible? Because they're showing up on the radar. This isn't that high off the ground. As we take a look at the distance above the ground, we're looking at about a half of a mile up above the ground here from these storms. So can that gusty wind be mixed down to the ground? It's 70 miles per hour up above the ground. Yes, it can in spots. Not everybody in the path of this storm is going to get these winds. That's the way they work. But isolated places could get a rip snorter making its way through. Here's the Highway 1 corridor. It's crossing that right now. It's blowing toward the radar. Gust front out here. You're going to feel that burp of wind from the west-southwest first. Maybe a rapid drop in temperatures along this boundary as well. Speaking of which, old Hutch can throw those onto the map right now as we take a look at those temperatures. Look at this. We have 79 degrees in and around Cooperstown, but the gusty winds and the cooler air should be working its way in shortly. As we do see temperatures off to the east, we're still near 82 in Grand Forks right now. So not a lot of big cooling, even though that burp of wind is showing up on the radar. So down behind the storm, where the storm has already blown through, we're in the 60s. So we got us about a 20-degree drop in temperatures from Grand Forks into the Carrington area right now. So that's a pretty big drop in temperatures. So again, right here, what are you looking at? This bright circle that I'm drawing here, this area in the blue is a gust front. It's a gust of wind that's elevated above the ground right now, and it's showing wind speeds in here that are close to 70 miles per hour. So there's 70 mile per hour winds or so up above the ground right here. Now we're pinpointing this for you here. You don't always get this by looking at a composite scan. Here's where that gusty, strong core of wind is now. Could it move and become in a different spot later? Yes. It's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. It's not too far from some folks. So if we want to draw a line from where this is to the Findlay area, from the gust front now, it's only 15 miles away from Findlay. Okay, so if you're in Findlay, that gusty front is working its way through and towards you now. It's moving at 50 miles per hour in your general direction. Hope, same thing. It should be very close to you. And again, you'll want to batten down the hatches, pick up things like the lawn furniture, make sure it's all secured, tightly secured. The trash can, make sure it's not going to end up somewhere in Grand Forks County by the time you work your way through this storm system. So let me turn my Crayola off here and turn off my line measurement tool. And now you have a really in-depth analysis of the concerns with this particular storm right here, working its way into the south and to the east. Thank you very much, Brenda, for tuning in. Let me see if we have any more. Do you happen to have the forecast for tomorrow in the FM area? Thanks. And I apologize if I'm late to the party. How will Hendrum be tomorrow? Hendrum, strong to severe thunderstorm chance in the afternoon hours, morning sprinkles in the forecast for the Hendrum area. I can't stand this AI music. It's so annoying, LOL. Nitro Border, I'm sorry you don't like it. I kind of like the chugging guitar. Yeah, I love it, love it, love it. But that said, I appreciate your opinion and thank you for sharing it. Okay, let me see. I've got to clear all of my nonsense off this. Okay, so we got severe thunderstorm warnings. We just went over the Grand Forks County one. I will be back. I did want to hop on real quickly and point out exactly where the problem is. This is a bright area of very strong gusty wind, and in isolated spots, not every spot, we could have gusts near the surface to 70 miles per hour. That does include you folks in the northern reaches of Barnes County. It does include you folks right here in Griggs and Steele County and even out into Trail County. And it does include you folks down here in southern Grand Forks County, including Northwood, as well as you folks in southern parts of Nelson County, including Mackville. All right, I'll keep you updated on the very latest. You're watching Hutcharuski's Weather. Thank you for your questions. Drop comments in there. Make sure you're hitting the love or heart button on the apps here to help this get out to more and more people, and I'll do that. So I do appreciate you sharing, and we will be back here with more updates. You are watching Hutch's Weather. Isn't it fun? Hoofda. Okay, back to a little music, and I'm back to some tacos.
You're watching Hutch's Weather live. We're taking a quick breather. While Hutch prepares the next data sweep, check in from your neck of the woods in the chat. Let us know what you're seeing out your window. It's how we stay weather aware together. Stick around. Hutch is back in a moment to take your questions and track the latest alerts. Hutch is back in a moment to take your questions and track the latest alerts. When storms arrive, we go live. With eyes on the sky, we stand by your side. Through the ice and the snow, through the blizzard's call, Hutch's Weather, we're here for it.
All right, everybody. Hey, it was taco time and we had tacos and my belly is saying thank you for giving me a break. Now let's talk about this storm heading into Grand Forks. Still some gusty winds with it. I'll show you where. Thunder and lightning also, and some wind gust reports with the storms. Also, we'll take a look at our watches for tonight, your forecast, and we have a live view from my friends over at the Argyle Dragon of the storms working their way into that Alvarado area just off to the west. Let's get started right now. In the screen above me, precision radar has been scanning through the skies. One severe thunderstorm remains, and we're going to go to it right. Wait a minute. Now! Wah! There it is. All right. Big old box here going around. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. A severe thunderstorm warning is mainly in Grand Forks County, but does include parts of Griggs County and Steele County and Trail County. Notice, Trail County, not much going on there. But now, as we see a little bit of activity in the northernmost reaches of Steele County, and still some more redeveloping storms on the backside. This is called a composite radar. It doesn't show you much. In fact, you look at this and go, ain't no big thing. All right, so you look at Larimore down to Northwood, what's really going on here? For that, we look at single site radar data, pixel by pixel, and analyze the bajonkers out of this. Bigger hail, heavier rain, Fordville points south into the western reaches of Grand Forks County. Larimore, it's on its step towards you. Still a little bit of a backward C shape here. So there's still some gusty winds with this. Notice we're not seeing much but these little faint green lines. Those are outflows and burps of cold air coming out of the storm that you'll feel crossing through parts of, well, Griggs County and Steele County in particular for Hope and Page, and all the way out towards Mayville right now. And then, now the warning here, just to update you, is in effect until we get to 10 p.m. And then it's probably all but done, but let's take a look at what the gusts say. Now, this is Hutch's gust estimator. Let's check and see how much gustiness is going on here. Boom, shaka, laka. Where do you go, gust estimator? Here we go. Bam! Okay, these colors here help Hutch estimate what wind speeds might be up in the clouds that can make their way down to the surface. Let's go. Where you see the orange here, we still have that potential for some 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Niagara, also down south of Larimore and heading into the area of Larimore. So near 60-mile-per-hour gusts look to be the rule as we take a look across the region here right now. Just outside of Sharon, not far from the Findlay area, we have 55-mile-per-hour gusts still embedded in the storm here and there. So still has the potential to be some gusty winds. Now, even looking up into parts of Walsh County, near St. Thomas, and down here in towards Fordville and out towards Grafton. So we still have some areas there, could be seeing some 50-mile-per-hour gusts, and there's a rain drip up here. What's that rain drip mean? Let's take a look. That's a rainfall estimate here. 1.8 inches of rain measured since 6 p.m. in Cavalier. That's 1 3/4 of an inch of, wet stuff working its way through the region. So this is a look at the rain estimator, and this is a look at the hail estimator right now. So let's take a look at this hail tracker here. Are there any hailstones left? No. As we went through our forecast last night, we said that the chance of hail drops off at sunset. Boom, that's what's happening. So in 2 minutes, the severe thunderstorm watch is set to expire. And in 2 minutes, this warning here for this area is set to expire, where we did get 58-mile-per-hour gusts reported there, and 59-mile-per-hour gust measured at a private weather station out there near Kensal, and also northern Stutsman County get a 61-mile-per-hour gust. So a couple of storms still producing some hail. McCluskey there in Sheridan County, and then right here in Grand Forks County on the western side, that's where the greatest chance for some hail up to 1 inch in diameter is, and that looks to be about it. We're going to check back in on this in a bit. Look what's going on down here in southwest parts of North Dakota. For that, we're going to go back to the composite radar view. One little pimple of a cell just north of Bowman, moving off to the north and to the east, capable of some gusty winds. And what else? Let's take a look. 1.5 inch diameter hail possible from that cell. This thunderstorm, by the way, a long ways away from the Bismarck radar and an even longer way away from the Montana radar in Billings than Ekalaka here. You're about to see a chance of some stormy weather pushing its way up from the southwest here as we go through the Highway 323 corridor here, moving off to the north and to the east is this cluster of thunderstorm cells. And you see that, well, let's go ahead and take a look at this, this one right here. So this hail core forming on this puppy moving up this way at about 35 miles per hour. We'll put it near Ekalaka by 10:33 if the hail core maintains itself for that period of time. So that's what's going on in Montana, South Dakota, right along the Nebraska border. Here is where we have the action going on, Shadron, as well. Some severe storms here producing some hail drifting around the area, and then all the way up through Wanblee and also down towards Phillip, and not far from Wall. We got some gust reports from these cells as well. Now, I do want to let you know, hi, thanks a lot, Kim and Carol. I appreciate you for joining as always. Thank you for your support as well, as always. A couple of things to report about our weather throughout the day today. There's been some on again, off again reports about some Belcourt tornado possibilities that went on earlier today. I saw nothing from the National Weather Service on this, but there is some evidence now starting to pop up on social media that there indeed was evidence of a tornado striking down in that area earlier as we went through the day today. So keep that in mind. No official recollection of it or anything of that sort. Now, I got something else fun for you from my friends at the Argyle Dragon. Let's take a live look at what's going on there. I'm going to try to pop this up on the screen because it's lighting up the scene mighty nicely here. I just got to take 1 second and go ahead and pop up what it is we're going to look at here. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look. Now I got to make it nice and make it pretty. Okay, here we go. So it's not going to be all that nice. It's not going to be all that pretty as we go through, but let's see if we can make it happen here. All right. And where did you go? Okay, so oh, there's that part. Okay, good enough for that. Now let's go here. My apologies. Okay, got it fixed, I think. So what you're looking at is the Argyle Dragon. You can search this on YouTube and follow this page. Make sure you subscribe to it out there. This is from Argyle, Minnesota, and usually they're out there scanning the skies for the northern lights and doing a darn good job of it. But tonight, look at the lightning starting to light up the sky out there as the storms make their way in. So a lot of cloud-to-cloud type lightning strikes showing up on this beautiful view here. You can join along with me by heading over to the Argyle Dragon on your YouTube channel and checking that out. So thank you for doing that. I do appreciate you allowing me to use your link here and share with everybody what it is you're seeing coming your way. So in northwest parts of Minnesota, there is a chance at seeing some of these storms push their way in. As we take a look right now, you're looking at the Argyle area here, and you're looking up into these storms out near Grafton and Park River. The severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. We do still have outside of Petersburg and Niagara a cluster of some hail, but also some gusty winds on the order of 50 to 55 miles per hour. Certainly not out of the question. Again, this is drifting in the general area of the Grand Forks area right now as we head into the 10 o'clock hour. So western Grand Forks County, Northwood, Larimore, Gilby, and out towards Fordville and Point South, the strongest activity. Still some lightning going on in Nelson County near the Mackville area. Also out towards Lakota, a couple of recent strikes taking place there. Devil's Lake, you've got some showers and thunderstorms. McCluskey out in Sheridan County has a storm outside that's a pretty good, strong storm there. Let's take a look at the hail tracker and the hail estimate with this particular storm pushing its way in, and let it populate. Here we go. So the estimates on this one are upwards of 3/4 of an inch, possibly nickel-sized hail on that storm moving right there along the highway there between McCluskey and Mercer on Highway 200. So a little bit of a hail cell there. Down in Bowman County here, we're not seeing much. As we go up towards Slope County, we're seeing a chance for some strong thunderstorm activity, but from Rame and Scranton, most of that is up to the north of you. There was a report of some hail down here just a little bit ago showing that we did have some hail size 3 inches in diameter, 3-inch diameter hail 9 miles southeast of Webster, and that happened Fallon, Montana, in the county Fallon there, as you look at that 8:40 p.m. So that was a heck of a hailer out there. Now let me turn on the radar sight so you can see this storm heading up just north of Rame, and it's heading off into that area near Amadon. So if you're in Amadon and you're driving down the highway there and you see the old sheriff's car out there outside on this side of Amadon as you're approaching town, you're taking the corner, you're going to have a little bit of some heavy rain and the possibility for some hail from that cell making its way in. Ekalaka, that storm approaching your area still, and a whole bunch of rain taking place out there. Now, speaking of rain, we can take a peek at what's going on with our rainfall estimates across the area. So here's a look so far for today. 1.04 in Langdon, 1.34 as you go up into that Pembina area and Cavalier area. So now as we go out to the west, not much going on in Rolla according to the rain gauge there, but we did get 0.8 just north and west of you guys. And again, that Belcourt area right here may have seen a tornado touchdown today based on some video that I saw online today. 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain out there as you go north of Dickinson. And as you look out into northern Stutsman County, that's where things got rocking and rolling. 0.6 of an inch as we went down from the Ashley, Wishick area and then right up into northern Stutsman County with some beneficial rain. We got goose eggs aplenty out here in the southern Red River Valley, southeast North Dakota, and off into parts of western Minnesota. We will see some measurable rain in the early overnight hours in places like Argyle and in places north of you in Kennedy, Donaldson, all the way out towards the maybe even as far east as Roseau, but we'll see if it makes it that far heading into the evening hours. So appreciate it. Is Minot going to get some more rains tomorrow? It does look like the best chance of that, Brenda, will be off to the east of you. We could get some development as we go through the day, but it does look to be to the east. So now back to the radar we go. And the temperatures today definitely warmed up and heated up the atmosphere into the 80s in the eastern Dakotas. Look at what's going on south of Bismarck. A couple of showers and storms there. Up towards the Underwood and Washburn areas here. You see that as you go up towards Max, things get quiet. So right now, Minot, you are on the backside or the dry side of this particular system. What does that mean? As we take a look at temperatures, we're going to have cooler air there in Minot. Look at that. It says, well, let's let it reload here. Temperatures are in the 60s to near 70 degrees in Minot, 66 out in Carrington, and then you get into the Red River Valley. We're still in the near 80 degree range, Grand Forks, Hillsboro on out towards the 81 in the Fargo Moorhead area. And we have a lot of 70s as we look across portions of Becker County for the Detroit Lakes area, Fergus Falls 73, Alexandria 70, Warroad at 70, and Badette at 70 degrees at this hour as well. Now, when we take a factor onto these dew point temperatures, again, the most humid air is out here. So these storms that are moving off to the east are moving into some drier air here. So that's going to limit their ability to continue moving off to the east tonight overnight. So many of the models show as these storms cross into the drier air here, they're going to lose some of their moisture inflow, and that's going to cut them off. So we'll see some rain showers up here as they're diminishing. They're diminishing as they move into Grand Forks right now with their intensity. And same thing goes, I think we'll stay on the dry side here in the FM area. Overnight, the south winds move into the valley, and that's going to bring some of this humid air into the valley, and that sets the stage for your forecast for tomorrow. And in review of that, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. Thank you for your stars, Elena. I appreciate it so very, very much. If you appreciate what's going on here, please hit the like button. Hit the hearts over here on the YouTube side of things. You can drop comments. You can share with friends and get them on board too. And it really does help Hutch's message get out to more and more people. And you know what? I got to tell you what, it's a lot different when you're trying to watch certain other outlets for weather information and there's simply nothing there. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate your attention here at Hutch's Weather, and thank you for following me. It makes me continue to do what I do, and I love it. Okay, now your forecast. This model here is not the one that I really think is going to do the best with it, but you know what? I'm going to look at it here as we put it into motion through the overnight and into your day tomorrow. Hey, we got the Spuds in the state tournament out near the Twin Cities, and that's pretty awesome as well. So let's take a look at what's going on for you Spudsters as you go out there to play some ball. Let's see what's going on here. I can't even get this model to load up the right one here. Let's see if I can get it to go now. No, not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Okay, let's see. Try again. There we go. And play. There, I think it's loading. Okay, let's let it go. Okay, so this model shows that as these storms move into the drier air here, there's no fuel feeding them, so they kind of, well, they fizzle out. In the morning, we could have a sprinkle or two working its way through the central Red River Valley. Then another wave moves through. You saw Minot with a chance of some early day rain. Heading into the evening, strong to severe, we'll have a couple of areas of low pressure develop, meaning we could have some spin or rotation in these storms as they work their way through. And much like the night before, by the time they get to the Twin Cities, they fizzle out, and they won't get there until Thursday morning. So for you baseball players on your Wednesday, Hope Day, go Spuds. Looking good for baseball out there southeast of the Twin Cities as you go towards Ricari there. That's where they're all playing. Now, as we head into Thursday, it does look like there's a chance, and let me get that loaded up for you here so we can see all together, because I was asked by the coach, hey, Hutch, what you thinking for Thursday? Chance of storms forming out in this area as we go through the afternoon hours here. So afternoon and evening, this would be 7 o'clock at night. They'll be in the vicinity and firing there. Warm front means all modes of severe weather will be possible here. We'll have warm, humid air feeding these storms into the evening hours, and that could mean some strong ones out there for southern Minnesota, southeast Minnesota, including Ricori, including the Twin Cities, including all folks out in here towards Mason City in Iowa, as that warm front will kind of meander in this general direction. Keep that in mind. That's your forecast, Spuds. Good luck to you as you, I had a wonderful season, and it's fun to watch you guys excel in so many different sports all year long. And the hockey team is wow, what a year. Okay, now let's take a look. Oh, thank you very much, Brenda. I love you guys too for watching Hutch. Now let's take a look at what else is going on in your forecast facts. Tomorrow morning, rise and shine. South wind will be 5 to 15 miles per hour here in the valley and out to the east. Notice the orange colors, warmer, mid 60s for most, all the way into South Dakota. We get a little cooler and get in that 55 to 60 degree range in western North Dakota and eastern Montana. And whoo, brr, it's cool 40s up there in northeast Montana, up near the Fort Peck area, Glasgow, as well as, how about Wolf Point, Montana, 51 degrees, 53 in Old Baker, Montana. How about Minnesota, you say? I got you covered, Minnesota. Land of 10,000 plus lakes. And home of the Spuds here in Moorhead, Minnesota, playing baseball down here. 64 to start your day. South wind, increasing humidity. So make sure you're drinking your fluids out there, baseball players. It's going to get a little bit more sticky outside. Temperatures near 60 to start your day. What about the afternoon, you say? Well, if you have an afternoon, babe, you want to get that bat out and get that head around and just throw it out there at the ball and hit that ball far. 79 for Bemidji. How about 60s on the North Shore? South winds, increasing humidity, dew points in the 60s, so sticky air you can wear, and temperatures in the mid 80s in and around the Twin Cities, straight down towards Hutchinson, towards Wilmer, and look at this, near 90 degrees as we go from Morris and south on the Minnesota River Valley. 79 in Fargo. Tough forecast for Fargo, by the way. Here you are, sitting on the edge of mid 70s and mid 80s. So I put it right in the middle because, we could briefly warm up, but I do think once those showers and storms start popping, the temperatures, they're going to start dropping. And you heard it here first. You don't have to wait till the newscast for that. Circulation around this low means some of you in the central Dakotas will have a north wind, a refreshing flow. There's your showers that form in the afternoon in Minot, and they'll spread toward the Devil's Lake Basin, cutting off your heating for the day. You might make 70 earlier, but then it's going to cool off into the 60s range for your 4 p.m. hour. Wind in Montana will be from the west, young man, and that means you're going to have some chances of temperatures chilling like a villain in the upper 50s and low 60s, 72 down here in Baker. And as you go into the Black Hills, temperatures there near 70 degrees, a very comfortable day for you. All right, let's take a look. Now let's see what else we got going on. Andrew says SPC doesn't have Crookston in the 2% tornado risk. We're only in the slight risk for hail. What can we expect in Crookston Wednesday? Hang with me, Andrew Novak. I got you covered. It's real hard when the SPC draws these areas. They draw them 24 hours in advance. At 1 o'clock in the morning or so, they're going to update that map. And I'm going to show you what Hutch thinks for that in just a second. But first, chance of severe weather right in this area. Hutch does have it, including parts of Polk County in this area. But when we get into this cooler pool of air here, the chances for anything real stout do go down. There's no question about it. So western Polk County, you'll be closer to those low 70s. I think if you're closer to this temperature range here where we get closer to 80, and we got to have some 60s for dew points out there to fuel these storms. I think we'll see them fire somewhere in here and rock their way off to the east. And now the 7-day planner, and then we'll look a little closer at the question that you have about Crookston, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking. Let's go to the 7-day planner. Afternoon thunderstorms could be strong to severe, and a morning spit to get you started out the day. If the morning spit lingers all day, then what that's going to do is cut off our sun, cut off our heating, and then we will really lose our risk for severe weather. So Fargo, if you're walking out and about and it's staying in the cool low 70s, it's not going to happen. If we do pop up to 80 or so, we'll have a chance at seeing some strong storms here and near the area for sure. Moving off into Minnesota, where the chance is going to be pretty good as well. A quieter day for most of Thursday, overnight storms possible. Now, we could see some isolated strong storms, but it looks like to me they do shift and form off to the east and south of the Fargo area throughout the day. I'll keep you posted on that. Remember what we were talking about for you baseball players and the Twin Cities seeing a Thursday afternoon chance for some strong storms out there. All right. Saturday, Sunday, we're heating it up. Warm and sunny Saturday. Sunday, night storms are in the forecast after we're going to be near 90 degrees for a sizzling close to the weekend. Storms overnight Sunday and into Monday could linger with some showers in the morning and then some afternoon thunder redeveloping. I've got the red side here on the right half of your day. That afternoon could have a few hit and miss strong storms, but temperatures staying in the summer-like 80s out there with averages for this time of year for the home base, Fargo area, around 75 degrees or so. Hey, if you're checking out Hutch for the first time, thank you very much. I've been a meteorologist up here in the Northern Plains as a chief meteorologist on television for the better part of 30 years, and now I'm streaming live covering weather for you. I'd appreciate you hitting the follow button on my Facebook page. What? You're watching from YouTube? Please take a moment, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the dingle bell for your notifications to be turned on. All right, now let's take a little look more detailed about some of the severe weather risks for your question about, Crookston. I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to grab the model that I like for tomorrow. Seeing some lightning northwest of Thief River Falls. Are we going to get some gully washers or frog stranglers? I think things are going to really taper off by the time they get to Thief River Falls. I cannot rule out some spotty sprinkles and spits of rain, but as far as strong frog strangling type rain, no, I don't think we're going to see that. Now let's talk a little bit about this forecast real quick, and you'll be able to see here tonight's flow, by the way, and what's going to be moving into Thief River Falls. There's Pennington County, there's Red Lake County, and there's Polk County right there. So we'll watch that area together. But I'm going to pull out the model that I like the most bestest for what's going on, and it has done a pretty good job throughout the day today. Here's your evening thunderstorms rolling out of the valley as we head towards midnight. Notice they're still kind of percolating up here in the north and the east part of North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. Notice how this model does not carry them into the Thief River Valley here. As we go in toward the Red River Valley, though, this is 6 to 7 a.m., a spotty chance of sprinkles and rain. Now, if that skedaddles in enough time, like it looks like it will, and clears, that clearing and sun will help to fuel our next round of thunderstorms. A few in the central Dakotas, including near Minot. If you asked Brenda what was going on, it doesn't show it forming right over Minot, but very close to it, and moving off into the Devil's Lake Basin for another day of wet weather for some of you. Now, I do want to point this out. There's an area of low pressure here, and then we also have, as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, an area of lower pressure right up in here. So a couple areas of low pressure do a couple different things. They produce different areas of circulation at the surface, and that can cause more spin and shear in the mid layers of the atmosphere. So if that circulation takes place here, these storms will have a chance at producing some spin in the atmosphere right here. Does that spin correlate up here? Earlier, I saw the model. This one here is another area of low pressure. And as that moves through, if we get storms forming near that, we could certainly have some spin in the atmosphere there as well. So All that said, not one model is going to do a perfect job of identifying the exact location of thunderstorm development, but I do like looking at this one because it did a good job with today's. As we go towards 10 o'clock, we have a bowing line segment here. What does that mean? See this backward C shape? It's like a bow and arrow. You pull that puppy back and it's curved. That's the way the wind is blowing. These are windy thunderstorms pushing in to west central and southwest Minnesota and the I-90 corridor as we head into the overnight hours. This blows its way toward the Twin Cities Thursday night late and overnight and then falls apart for the most part, but we could get some morning rain for you baseball players there in the Twin Cities. And that's it. So the severe weather threat is here, and this is what it looks like as we take a look at some of the parameters we're watching for severe weather. This is a brand new model, so we're all looking at this together. And as we take a look at the spin in the atmosphere, let's look at that. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this one. All right, here we go. So this is where we have the best chance of some spin in the atmosphere. If I was looking at the model correctly, I think this is going to show up in South Dakota. Boom, there it is. Okay, so there's spin in South Dakota here as we go through the evening hours. This will be drive time to your dinner and then the early evening, and then that usually fizzles out and goes away. So the most recent model from this model says most of that shear will be right along the North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota border there at the tri-state area. That's the spin. Now, the instability in the atmosphere, we can look at what's called the convective potential energy of the atmosphere and look at where it all starts. It's all here in South Dakota. And then as those storms form and move off to the east, that gets eaten up and that's gone. That energy's gone as we head into the overnight hours, much like today, meaning that that severe weather threat likely will not be long-lived into the overnight hours. And that's a good thing. Frog Strangler. Hey, Argyle Dragon. You know what? I'll tell you what, I was driving back from Montana and it was in a heck of a severe thunderstorm, as a matter of fact, and the rain was heavy. And I heard something thump across the bottom of the car, and I'll be darned if it wasn't toads in the road. That's right. So even in Montana, them frog stranglers, they get out of the ditches, they get to the warm asphalt, and ooey, I can't imagine what that road looked like the next day. All right, moving right along here now, let's talk a little bit about our chances for supercell thunderstorms. We know that it's going to take moisture and it's going to take lift to create them, so I expect to see them in South Dakota. There is your supercell index. This supercell index is pretty respectable here in parts of central South Dakota up into southeast North Dakota as we go through. What does all this mean? Well, this is just one model, and what I'm going to do right in front of your very eyes is we're going to pop this baby back and we're going to look at this model, and now we're going to compare it. Now, this is the high resolution model. Notice it keeps most of these supercells and the potential for them down in South Dakota as opposed to North Dakota. Why? Our temperatures with the cooler air in the 70s to near 80 will limit that. So I think staying in the 70s for Fargo was a good bet now that I'm seeing these newer models come out, and that's what this one is showing. Now, as far as the spin goes, we might as well take a look at that with the value that we're going to look at right here. The lower levels of the atmosphere, where's the spin form? And again, because this was in South Dakota, look at this. There's a little bit as things get fired on your Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock here, moving through the Southern Valley and then out. And then it pretty much dissipates as we head towards midnight. So there is going to be some spin in the atmosphere. I do think, in my humblest of humble opinions, that the severe weather risk for tomorrow may have shifted just a pinch south of where we saw it. Where did we see it? Let me show you real quickly here as we wind up this analyses of our weather and wind up my coverage of tonight's weather events here after a while. And obviously, if you have questions, let them rock. Okay, here's your day 2 risk of severe weather. This is a slight risk of severe weather in yellow. That's a level 2 on a 5-level scale of severe weather. It means that we'll see some scattered severe storms, not unlike what we saw for today across parts of the central Dakotas and the Devil's Lake Basin. Now, what we saw today will be similar tomorrow because we'll have a similarly humid air mass in place in the valley now, and we will see those storms form here somewhere on the left edge of this and the south edge of this, moving through this way as we go through the evening hours and then quickly out. So again, Let me clean up this date timeline that you see at the top here. This is for tomorrow or your day on Wednesday. So this is a look at the severe weather risk with regards to that and the modes of severe weather. If we start with our first look at the modes of severe weather, let's start with tornadoes. Where's the risk of tornadoes? South. This may move just a little bit farther south and include some more. I think this part still is possible, but we'll probably see that go down just a little bit farther to the south with the spin. If that low pressure center forms in this area, it'll be north. So it's going to be close, but that may move just a little bit as we go into tomorrow. Gusty straight line winds have a 15% chance in the yellow area here of seeing gusty storms within 50 miles of a point. Not all of us in this area that's enclosed here is going to see the gusty winds, but it is possible a few of these storms could certainly create wind gusts to 70 miles per hour. Hail, then, like tonight, is going to be the #1 threat. What's this flashing spot, Hutch? Well, I'll tell you what, even though the risk in the brown area for hail is 5%, if we do get any hail in Kearney or central Nebraska here, all the way up through parts of central and eastern South Dakota, all the way from Bismarck to Fargo, any thunderstorms forming in this air mass, there'll be enough energy for really big hail, 2 inches or so in diameter. I'm not talking ginormous monster gorilla, watermelon-sized hail here. We're talking about 2-inch diameter hail potential as we go through the day. And this particular area here, even though you're not in the highest risk for severe weather down here, if it does form, there'll be enough energy to make some really big hailstones out there. So that is a look at what we have going on across our area for tonight. Now let's take a look at this thunderstorm on the radar here together one more time. Here's a look at the composite radar, the pretty radar that we like to see on television. We still have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings down in southeast Montana and southwest North Dakota. We have a few severe thunderstorms down here along the South Dakota-Nebraska border. We have no severe thunderstorms left up here in North Dakota. The gustiest of the storms are tapering off just a bit, but let's go back in because in and around Grand Forks, this storm is on its way towards you. So as you take a look at this, what you're going to notice is that essentially the storms individually are making their way more in a northerly direction. Okay, northeasterly is the movement of these individual cells, but this whole line is slowly moving off to the east. So while this data is loading up here, I think what I wanted to point out is that yes, Grand Forks has a very good chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorm activity moving in. Gilby, you might see a little bit of hail upwards of 1/2 inch in diameter to 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and that would be about it. Moving right over the I-29 corridor from Oslo to Drayton, that's some wet weather pushing its way on in, and that's what we see right now. I'm going to go right to the single site radar data now, and we're going to take a look at this storm as it's making its way in. Gilby and north, this little pink area here, that is the hail core, so there could be some small soft hail right there along the Highway 2 corridor as you're going in towards Grand Forks here, and all the way up here near Ardoch as well. So Minto to Ardoch to Gilby is where we'll have a best chance at seeing a little bit of hail still falling out of this storm. We could still see some gusty winds. Here's a look at the hail estimator as we track that. Is there any hail in here that's sizable? Yes, it's right along the county line there on the Grand Forks County line with you folks in Walsh County. What is that size hail right there? We're estimating about 1/2 inch diameter hail, and that's about it. Now, as we take a look at the wind gust estimator, because this was a windy line of storms, this looks fairly similar to what we were seeing a little bit earlier. Let me turn the timeline on as we get towards 1027. You got some orange here. What is the orange? That's going to be wind gusts that could still be upwards of 50 miles per hour in and around some areas of western and central Grand Forks County. Again, this whole line is going to be drifting off to the east. So as we take a look at the storm cells with regards to this single site radar data here, let me turn this on for us. And what we're going to watch here is where these cells individually are moving. Generally, their flow has been northeasterly. And if I click on this little hail cell that's down here south of Larimore, this one is moving to the northeast. And the hail probability with that cell is 60% chance of seeing some hail, but the severe risk is 0. So we're not looking at very good hail with that particular cell as it's working its way through the region. So I do believe the individual storm cells here, if I could draw on this with my crayon, are moving more northeasterly like this. Okay, but the whole line is slowly creeping its way to the east like that. So we're talking about 35 to 40 mile per hour movement of each of these individual cells like that. And now we're looking at that Manville area, seeing a chance at some of that making its way in. Let me erase that. Let me go back to another radar display here to show you something else fun. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go here and let's go a single site. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is load this up with some radar data. Okay, so now we're looking at the same song and dance. This one just happens to load the radar data a little bit faster. A little bit of lightning down here from Forest River down towards Gilby and the Johnstown area. So that's the area with the heaviest lightning, the most frequent lightning. Notice that this little blue stuff is going from south to north in the southerly winds as that is loading up here. Let me see. Ooh, wow. Okay. How about this? This would be really cool to look at. Let's go all the way back. Here's Belcourt. How far back do I have this data? It does not go back into the Belcourt area during the time of the storms there. This gets me back to about 4:10 p.m. So we did have some strong and severe thunderstorms working their way through. We now have flood warnings in parts of the area near Cavalier to Pembina. So we do have the whole county in a flood advisory right now. So it looks like a flood advisory has been posted for some very heavy rain for this area that you see shaded in green. 2 to 4 inches of rain estimates fallen in the area. So low-lying areas, some flooding will be a possibility in these areas. And I'm seeing some amazing lightning from our friends at the Argyle Dragon out there. Goodness gracious, look at that. What does it look like for Staples? Well, we've talked about it a couple of times, but as the storms go through the late evening hours tomorrow, so they start in the North Dakota counties and they move off into Minnesota, your best chance at strong storms, and the strongest will be in North Dakota and western Minnesota as they move into Staples, will likely be in the early night hours. So we're talking 8 to 11 o'clock. So that's what it looks like. And yes, you could get some gusty storms, maybe even some hail as well from the storms. So flood concerns up there in and around the Cavalier area. So keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and load up just the last few frames because I want to take a look at what's heading into Grand Forks right now. So allow this to... There we are. Okay. All right. So as we take a look at the last couple of scans here, you can see how the individual storms kind of move into the north and to the east, but the whole line is moving just due east and heading into the Grand Forks area. Some of the stronger activity will pass north of you near Oslo, heading up in the general direction of that Drayton area as well. And Grand Forks does have a chance at seeing some rain. Drifting to the north and east, though, it might be only a sliver of rainfall potential there as we go through. So that's a look at that. Now let's take a look at some of these fantastic peak gusts today that have passed through the region. Thanks to my friends at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network, we had some gusts that were measured at end-on sites here over 30 miles per hour, and that's it. So not too bad on the gusts that were measured by our instruments here across the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network, which has a lot of instruments. So it just goes to show you some of these 60 and 70 mile per hour winds that made their way through can happen in between these gauges, right? Where we were seeing 8, 19, and 23, it doesn't mean there was no wind there. It just means they didn't hit one of these gauges that were out in the fields. And these thunderstorms, they're fairly small, and the gusts that they throw out can sometimes be over a smaller area as well. Okay, let's see. No, we don't want floods, but we did get some much needed rain, and now what's moving into the Northern Valley, not particularly severe, as we look out into southern Manitoba here for our friends in Winkler and in that vicinity. Here's a look at the radar data for that area. We do have this red area, which is a thunderstorm watch. That thunderstorm watch is in effect. Let's see. Expect rainfall rates of 30 to 50 millimeters per hour. For those of you that measure in millimeters up there, that's all of you. All right, 90 to 120 kilometer per hour thunderstorm gusts. That's pretty strong out there, and that's in the on the order of about 60 to 75 miles per hour or so. Large hail, 4 to 6 centimeters in diameter, would be possible from those storms as well. All watches here in the Red River Valley and North Dakota have been allowed to expire. In South Dakota, we have a narrow band of severe thunderstorm watches remaining, as we still have some thunderstorms that are strong. We do have a strong cell that's still wandering its way out of the Ekalaka area heading in towards Baker. That's 1-inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds expected from that particular cell, as the rain now is heading in towards Grand Forks. The risk of severe is very low. I'll keep my eyes on things, but I am going to wrap up this extended coverage tonight of severe weather. If you liked what you saw here, let me know in the comments. If you didn't like it and you'd like something different, let me know what that is. I do want to say this as we pull up our friends at the Argyle Dragon right behind me. This is unbelievable. All of the lightning they're capturing with their camera set up there. Just fantastic. Just watch this. It looks dark behind me, but that's what happens at night, right? Oh, there you go. Okay, lighten it up out there at 10:33:24 p.m. on the AM PM dial. All right, so thanks again for your feedback on Hutch's weather. So many places that I go for weather information, this is my personal opinion, is a fact that I see a little crawl with information, but I don't always see what I need to, the radar and stuff. So I am here for you, and so is my weather app. HutchesWeather.com is a great place to go to get the very, very latest version of the weather app. And actually, once it's on your phone, it will update. Hutch's weather app is different than any other weather app in our area. Why? Because it has the exclusive ability to give you a alert or a notification if a twisting storm is seen in your area. Now, you have to have radar data where the twisting storm can be detected. But if you're in that area, you're traveling in that area, it could be a lifesaver for you. And oftentimes those twisting storm alerts are issued before a tornado warning is issued, giving you a little extra time to prepare and plan. And that's the whole point. The weather app also sends alerts to you for things like lightning within 15 miles of your current location. It will send notifications when rain or lightning is approaching your area as well. Have you been using the app? Is it telling you now in Grand Forks? Is it telling you now in places like Forest River and Oslo that lightning has been detected in your area? I want to know how it's working. Thanks, Argyle Dragon. I appreciate that you like the app. Loved what I saw and heard. Thank you very much for the feedback, Brenda. It's appreciated very, very much. And, it helps me make sure that I'm delivering you in a way that's meaningful to you, the content that's important to you. I'll keep my eyes on stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. Again, the risk of severe weather right here in the Red River Valley as we go through tomorrow, both North Dakota and Minnesota. So tonight's risk of severe weather was out in the central Dakotas, as we see here. By a look at this yellow area, that was the risk area for this Tuesday night. And now as we shift into Wednesday, that risk shifts off to the east. Similar risk, scattered thunderstorms to numerous thunderstorms in this area, could be strong to severe. Large hail is the #1 threat to 2 inches in diameter. Gusty straight line winds will be the #2 threat. Those gusty straight line winds could be 70 miles per hour the way things are looking for tomorrow. There could be some twisting storms that form in this area, and we'll be watching that closely. As of the analysis we did on this late broadcast right here, it's in southeast North Dakota and northeast South Dakota right here. We'll have that greatest risk to see an isolated tornado. I am not expecting a long track, long-lived tornado that is a high magnitude tornado. That's not necessarily what we expect to happen, but a tornado cannot be ruled out. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you so very, very much for watching. To all of you, Pedro and I bid you a adieu, and I hope your night is a good one. And you know what? I'd love to have you come along with old Hutcheruski to Norway. Grab your pencil out and take a look at this information. Give my friends at Brecky Tour and Travel a call. Space is limited and time is limited for you to say, I want to join Hutch August 16th through the 26th in gorgeous Norway. Oofta! You haven't heard? Hutch is heading to Norway, and I want you to join me August 16th through the 26th. We fly out to beautiful Oslo, and that's just where the fun begins. We see the mountain country, we see fjord country, and more cities along the way, and it will be one heck of a trip, but it wouldn't be the same without you. Call Brecky Tour and Travel today to reserve your spot.
This has been a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching Hutch's weather.